Schaefer, it's Connor and Mike. Yeah. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer, it's Connor and Mike.
You know, one of my favorite things about 6 o'clock, right on the mark, I'm looking at social media, and there's a whole bunch of shows that I follow who go live all at the same time. Everybody's putting on their headset for the first time. Everybody's turning on their microphone for the first time. And we are very proud to be a part of that crew here at 1620 The Zone. The 6 a.m. crew. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola here on Happer and Schaefer. And if you're watching along on YouTube, you can see another wrinkle to our crew. We have new members, our bobbleheads, our ledge of bobbleheads, all of which, except for the one that got here, arrived yesterday from the Storm Chasers, from Matt's show, Noah Cameron, are from my desk collection that I have been accumulating since I've worked here at 1620 The Zone. Look at our friends. Now is when everybody else talks.
Good morning, Connor. Good morning, Mike.
Trying to pan the
Wonderful.
camera as best I could. We should have moved this chair out of the way, but
We can still do that.
So it is. One last look at all the bobbleheads here before we come back up to.
There we go.
Me.
Whoa.
Hooray!
Hi,
Hooray.
guys.
There it is.
Good morning.
How are we doing, Connor?
Good. Jeez, good.
I don't know what to do.
It's all good. It's all good. How is everybody else today? Joey,
Doing fantastic.
Have you survived your?
Yes, I did. I survived.
All right, good.
I'm here. I'm all freshened up
That's good.
on a Tuesday morning.
Excellent. Well, it's another day, so that means it's raining again. So that's how things work around here
Saw
now.
some lightning when I was driving in, so I guess it did storm last night.
Did we actually get the big storm last night that was supposed to come in?
I don't know. I saw water on the ground when I woke up this morning.
I did too, but I also ran my sprinklers, so
No, it rained. It
Okay.
definitely rained some. It didn't seem like much.
Yeah.
And then I saw lightning in the sky.
there was like at one point it sounded like there could have been a ton of rain, and then I think it just sort of, at least where we're at,
in our different climate.
in Northwest Omaha area, it didn't seem like it came down that much. So
We got to come up
I
with
didn't mow. I'm starting the show off with accountability.
Oh, no.
I didn't mow
no.
yesterday, so I'm like hoping to get it in today.
I mean,
Otherwise,
I think-
it's going to be a disaster.
I think you'll be. Well, I guess I don't know what the weather looks like for the remainder of the day, but it is supposed to rain like sporadically over the next several days.
It's supposed to kind of rain
I
sporadically
can't
over the
believe-
next like 24 hours.
Supposed to die down in the afternoon today.
Yeah, there's going to be a window. It's just whether I maximize the window.
What happened? You weren't able to squeeze it in.
I had other stuff pop up, and then it was like right in that window where I'd have to get it done before I picked up my kid from daycare, and I just didn't feel like I had enough time to be able to pull it off. So instead, I just sat on the couch.
I was gonna say, so you probably just didn't do anything at all.
Yeah, no, it's.
Hey, I've been there.
Oh, I've got to do something in 45 minutes. Well, I can't do anything, so I'm just going to sit here.
I would need exactly 46 minutes to
Yep.
do this. Therefore,
Couldn't-
I cannot do it.
couldn't
And therefore,
possibly-
I will sit and do nothing.
So you mentioned this on Saturday, and I was intrigued by it because I've done this before where I've been short on time and I'll only mow like the front with the idea that I will come back and mow the back when I have more time or the next day. And I've done that. I don't love it.
You got to really commit to it.
And I thought about doing that yesterday, but then I was like, well, even if I mow for 25 minutes, do I have to like shower before I go to this public place to pick up my kid? And then it became this whole thing, and then I just gave up.
Yeah, you would need to be you would probably need to be staying at your house for a long period of time, or do it like a day-night doubleheader.
Yeah.
You know, like a long gap in between. I think I took a nap in between my shifts last
Really?
night.
Yeah.
A nap and a shower. Yeah.
Understandable.
And that's how it sort of went. It's if you got the lawn for it, you know.
Well, and I don't have that big of a lawn. It's just like I didn't have the exact amount of time that I wanted to kind of do everything. So then I just didn't.
I would have done the exact same thing that you did.
So, like
which
I
is
said,
nothing.
basically just sat there at about 4:15. Was like, don't have time. Just gonna sit here.
I have no time. And then scrolling on the
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah, I have plenty of time for that.
Makes sense. Good morning, everybody. And we have plenty to come up on the show today. Today's Tuesday. Power Rankings with Tears are here. I'm very excited about today's Power Rankings with Tears.
I'm very intrigued
Joey,
when I saw this morning.
Joey, you are Joey usually makes the graphics.
Good luck.
The lovely there's not going to be any graphics with this one today. I don't think.
Good luck with that, Dan.
It would just be too difficult to tell what in the style that Joey makes them. It'd be too difficult to tell what in the world they are.
It's been a while since I made graphics for Power Rankings with Tears. I guess that could be another added to my list of accountability, but for a good reason. The list is tough to. It's kind of tough to make depending on the list.
And today we came up with this idea on the fly last week, and I like it so much, so we're going to stick with it. Museums / landmarks / is there another word that I need to throw in there that is okay in this conversation?
Like you could
halls.
I think landmarks kind of encompasses the historical places, things of that nature. I think we're good.
Okay.
I think we have it. Museums and landmarks largely take care of it.
Museums and landmarks. That is what we are doing today on the show for Power Rankings with Tears. Mitch Sherman and Jacob Padilla will join the show. And we'll go into the news of the day. We have some basketball stuff to talk about.
Whoa!
There was all of a sudden in the middle of August some basketball roster movement yesterday across the board.
John Rothstein's got to be excited.
News. Yeah, did you? That was the end of last week. The John Rothstein. Yeah,
we haven't got your opinion on it though.
On it being on September 16th,
which is the day of the Nebraska Creighton volleyball match.
It felt like that might have been sort of decided to really amp everything else up with it. But
you think so? I feel like he's the kind of guy who had absolutely no idea.
Oh, I don't think he knew. I think the people involved with the rest of it knew that there would already be a crowd of people, so they might as well venture in with that.
Yeah, I would imagine now that that's the case, and we talked about this on Friday. He's got some help now, right? He's got some backing. Yeah, some good hard backing on this.
I don't want to go too deep into it because I do know a little bit, but I would say that his boots on the ground have filled in gaps that are just completely there for John Ross.
Boots on the ground have filled in
the
gaps.
People that are helping him set this up from the Nebraska end of it, have really had to impress upon him that this is not going to be a small gathering. We'll put it that way.
That's good.
I don't think
has he received that message.
Unclear.
Well, he's about to.
Just based on the limited amount that I know, it seems that he, like the Oklahoma City bartenders, has no idea what exactly he is potentially signed up for. Yeah. So, from what I understand, there's some safeguards in place and everything.
Okay, good. So. If he is indeed to leave his credit card out for an hour, it's not going to work for him. It's not going to be good.
I think the people involved are going to take care of him because he didn't take care of himself. We'll put it that way.
All right. Well, that makes sense. They're good. The business is going to be good down there anyway. Of course, during the pregame for Nebraska and Creighton playing volleyball against each other at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Here's Cody. Just checked my rain gauge near 156 in Dodge and got 0.28 inches of rain last night.
Wow.
The rain gauges, I watched.
You have a rain gauge? I don't have a rain gauge.
No, I'm very interested, though.
So if you get a fence put up, you could put up a rain gauge on the inside of your fence. Yeah.
Now, I saw Matt Serwe do a video about this recently, the inconsistencies of the rain gauges.
Oh, yeah.
And he was on the roof of WWT and put like 6 rain gauges out and then just dumped water on them for a little while. And they all read
differently.
Relatively different things.
One of my favorite of the many social media John Bishop bits, one of my favorites is like his like, what'd you get? Like whatever, there's been a big rain.
The JB weather station. Yeah.
It's like I know that man is always interested in knowing what someone else had in their rain gauge just to compare.
It is interesting because they could be vastly different.
I make fun of it, but I'm interested. I'm consuming the content. We'll put it that way.
Oh, definitely. There's no doubt. Headley writes it on YouTube. All YouTube listeners should be provided with complimentary sunglasses as we stare into the bright bearded light known as Connor Happer. And once again, the giant headlight of my head is back.
It's harsh.
I forgot my hat today.
I think I know where I could find some hats in this
Can we
building.
use this track lighting instead and just point it at you?
I don't think they.
I've never actually seen that on.
I haven't
before.
either.
I don't think they work.
Yeah, my guess is it's not actually hooked up to anything.
Thomas says, Headley,
It's wired.
my sweet prince Connor is shining so brightly like he hasn't seen sunlight in 10 years. Oh, is that good?
I don't hate it.
I don't.
You kind of need the stuff pointed at you and not pointed down. So start with that.
Okay. I mean, we could jump up there during the break. Should we give this a test run for today?
Yeah, we can do a test run.
Or for like an hour
At
or
least
something?
until it gets light enough out that we can just have the light behind us.
All right, cool.
It does remove a large amount of the glare that is just off of you.
It definitely does. I don't know what's better though, like actually having real light or just having my face look like a white, like you're walking into heaven or something like that.
Well, I mean, it's a good look.
All right. Well, we're gonna try and adjust the lights after the first break here. Headley says fantastic. All right, awesome. Well, we're off and rolling on a Tuesday. Like I said, Mitch Sherman, Jacob Adil are going to join us. We'll talk about that basketball roster movement, volleyball being on television, the AP poll. Oh man, the AP poll murderers were out yesterday. They were like, I'm dying. I've seen a college football poll. I don't know what to do, and I am forced to take it very seriously. Therefore, I want to kill this poll. And I said, I don't know what you're all up in arms about, but we'll talk about that today on the show. Mike Schaefer has football questions.
I do.
That's all I know.
That's all you do know.
Football questions. I'm excited about football questions. How many football questions do you have?
I got a handful. I was thinking this is something we could toss in sporadically as we go over the next week or so.
Oh,
or unless you want it all shot out at once.
No, I just didn't. I just had a couple follow-up questions. That's what it was.
What other follow-up questions?
How long do you think they will take to answer?
It really depends on like how much, depth you want to provide of the context for the answers. Or if you wanted to be rapid fire, it would take approximately about 4 seconds.
I don't think so. It doesn't seem
rapid
like
fire doesn't seem like a great. Now, if we wanted to do like at the close of something, and I just start throwing you a questions you don't get to provide. We could do that sometime.
Yeah, people do like
no
clarity.
Context answers.
Sometimes we ask questions and then we spend 20 minutes answering them, and then we land in a place that is very, very wishy-washy and unclear. Maybe at the end of it, after we've already discussed the questions, we bring it back and we say, answer the damn question.
Yeah, it's possible I could just work with Joey, who then while, you're giving your answer is then building out the graphic that goes up on the StreamYard to be like, this is Connor's answer.
Okay. It's possible.
You never know.
Then I'd have to have an answer beforehand.
Probably. And we'd probably have to produce the segment a little bit more.
You would have to buy in some time while we make the graphic.
And in the middle of August, roster changes for football. Oh Tikey Hayes. Dang.
So many people.
I thought he was going to run for 2,000 yards this year.
So many people ran out their social media or their group chats or wherever they wanted to talk about Nebraska football and made roughly the same.
What was your favorite Tikey Hayes moment?
Just like,
let's put a ban on that today. We are not going to be asking that question.
100%.
Do not tell us your favorite Tikey Hayes moment, and don't even think about it. Don't even consider thinking about telling us your favorite Tikey Hayes moment.
But no, that was when I had heard the news, and then I went over to see the reaction of people, and it was exactly as you could have predicted. So.
Yeah, it wasn't here for very long.
I first heard this from a tweet from Josh Peterson. I saw the comments. People were saying, "Stop it, Josh! Stop it! Stop breaking Nebraska news."
They were getting mad because Josh was hinting at something and wasn't breaking news.
Is that what was he doing that yesterday?
No,
I think he was hinting.
Mm-mm.
He was hinting. There was a hint, and it was like people. I say this mockingly, but I really don't mean it mockingly. People are gonna have have to have their takes retired about Tikey Hayes or something like that. It was like, the Tikey Hayes takes are going to age poorly. I actually don't think they were. No,
Yeah.
I don't think there was anybody who had very high expectations for what he was going to bring to the table this year.
It's funny because this came up on the golf trip that I was at, and someone sort of asked about him, and someone else referenced like, why does it seem everyone's so excited? And I was like, are people excited?
Yeah, I haven't heard this excitement.
So I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to what we said but I think it was very much like, oh, this is sort of an interesting.
Like maybe on the day, I was sort of excited that they actually brought in another running back.
A lot of it was like, okay, we asked for them to bring in another running back. They did. He's interesting. We'll see what happens.
Right.
That was 97% of the reaction to all of it.
Yep.
But I could be wrong.
And then we'll see what happens in camp. And if he makes any moves, he did not make any moves. His only move was away.
I think the default answer of everything related to the running backs is we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
So we'll see what happens.
I would say that we'll see what happens. Also, family drama meets basketball drama. This is the worst. I mean,
I'm enjoying this.
If you are an NBA sicko, this is about as good as it gets right here with the Los Angeles Lakers and the Bus family.
That was like the evolving story where little snippets were coming out a little bit at a time throughout yesterday, and you're just like, something's weird here.
It's Succession plus the NBA.
That's what it feels like. But it's like, I want it to be. This is why that show should never have went away, and people should have stopped defending Jerry West for being a lunatic.
Yep.
And continued to let us have winning time, because the build up to this would have been great.
And they would have had to depict it on a later season.
Right.
And the end of the Lakers franchise out of the family control of the Bus family. That would have been the end of the show.
But all of the wieners that got all upset because Jerry West was depicted as a loose cannon, which he himself has depicted himself as being, caused this show to get canceled, and I'm sad about it.
Yeah. The show's over.
Hey, it was a perfect ending. The Celtics beating the Lakers in the finals. That's a great way to go out.
That was not the perfect ending.
There wasn't even an ending. It
just ended
where the season finished to set things up that never got to happen.
402-951-1620. That's how you get in touch with the show on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Call our text set number. Tweeted us at Happenschafe on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed, or at Connor Happer, or at Mike J. Schaefer there as well. Email Connor, Mike, Joey, 1620 at 1620zone.com. On the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. Thank you, Doug. And we say good morning, of course, to our YouTube streamers. Hi, YouTube streamers. We're glad that you're here today. Please let us know about our lighting and our bobblehead ledge, and if you like it or not. We'll work on those track lights after this and see if we can get them shining on our faces. But I just don't want it to look like I am inside of something that's really white.
Padded
or washed. Yeah, some sort of jail cell.
Yeah, that's the first thing.
Torture room or something like that. But we'll figure it out. Off and running on a Tuesday. Glad you're with us on 1620 The Zone.
You're listening to Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone.
All right, we messed with the lighting in studio. If you're watching along with this on YouTube, and then we did turn me into a very white person again, which I am excited about. It's like a spotlight now. But really, it's not quite as washed out as it was before. So once again, we could use a lighting expert or something like that. We serve as our own lighting experts at the moment here on Happer and Schaefer, especially in the hours where we don't have sunlight.
Yep. Which is back again.
It's back.
It is back, and we're gonna have to
do you feel the slow churn of fall and winter starting to creep in and overtake your life? Do you feel the seasonal depression coming?
It was interesting. We were walking around our neighborhood and running into various people that were outside trying to enjoy. It was a nice night out.
It was a lovely night.
And you talk to these parents with kids that are certainly older than mine, and they're just like in a very celebratory mood because their child has got back to school. And it has brought that like sense of normalcy of like routine and order.
Yep.
And in the case of one parent, she was like, yeah, it was her first summer where we left our kids at home by themselves. And it was terrifying.
I bet it was.
Every day.
Yeah.
She's like, we made it through. And
Nice.
Now someone else
Let's
is in
walk
charge.
around the park, or let's walk around the neighborhood and like have some beverages or something like that.
Good luck with that, Dan.
People do that. People do
Oh,
be
yeah.
doing that these days. There's no doubt about that. So yes, congratulations to the parents who sent their children back to
Have you noticed-
boot camp yesterday.
Have you noticed any traffic? Has there been more traffic with school starting? I know we start so early.
I've not noticed
It
anything
doesn't
at
seem
all.
like there should be any.
I haven't either.
But people swore that I would notice a difference in the morning, even this early.
OPS will go back in full, I believe, Thursday.
Okay.
So potentially we still have a couple more days to
That
really
is true.
get fully
Not everybody
integrated
is
into
back
it.
yet.
Not everybody is back yet. Shout out to my guys at OPS. All right, let's hit some family drama real quick. So we brought you this story last week. We gave you this story. The Lakers, the majority stakeholder in the Lakers, Mark Walter, who has a lot of things on his plate right now, decided to sell his controlling stake of the Los Angeles Lakers to Bob Iger and others. Bob Iger, Josh Kushner, and Bob Iger, $12.5 billion. That was last week. Well, there was still 17.8% of the Los Angeles Lakers in the hands of course, the Buss family. Schaefer mentioned the show Winning Time earlier, the story of how the Buss family came to have control of the Lakers. Dr. Jerry Buss, and then Jeannie, who's the daughter of Dr. Jerry Buss and has been the controlling owner for a long time now, and gave up some of that control over the last couple of years. They still had 17.8% of the Lakers. Then her siblings got involved and they saw an opportunity. They said, hey, there's this tag-along deal. There's this tag-along clause where if the majority of the team sells for $12.5 billion, then we can just sell the rest of it and jump on at that same price and that same deal. And the siblings who have stake and have board seats and things like that, they said, what a great idea. I want out of this business. I want to cash out. I want my money. I want to be rich. And that's it. Jeannie Buss, who is, like I said, has been in control for many years now. She said, no, she goes, I'm not bleeping leaving. It's just basically a succession situation.
Yeah, and she's trying to contest the sale of the family's shares, and she wants to. She had an agreement in place to still be there through 2030 with Mark Walter when he bought the team, that would no longer be honored. She'd lose her spot as governor on the board.
Mm-hmm.
There's all of these. So like, I've never served on any boards of any sort of thing.
I don't know how
besides,
anything
like,
works. Yeah.
Random civic volunteer things. I don't know how any of boardroom stuff works in corporate America. I didn't know there was governors.
I've only watched Succession.
Yeah, and that explained nothing for me.
Yes.
And
But we're here as conduits to dumb it down for everybody else. So once it goes through our brains, it's already immediately dumbed down for you guys.
basically, it seems like it would prevent her from retaining any real control of the Lakers at all, and therefore kind of her last,
which is something she is unwilling to give up.
She's been sort of running things for 13 years.
Yes.
And would like to see it go through at least another 5. So
controlling ownership of the Lakers. This is from the ESPN story. Ramona Shelburne wrote this. Controlling ownership of the Lakers could be at stake as Jeannie Buss would no longer have the needed ownership percentage to remain the governor of the team if the transaction goes through. If she had an agreement with the Walter family when he first bought the team, that he would remain the franchise's controlling owner through 2030, like Schaefer said. Bob Iger, the new owner, or the person who is buying the Lakers right now, told the California Post last week that he intended to honor that agreement with Buss, but added, quote, if something changes, then it changes. Iger met with Buss late last week, and the two discussed a transition from Mark Walter, a spokesperson for Kushner and Iger, the new buyers, declined to comment on the situation when reached by ESPN. There is a lot of legalese inside of this thing. Of course, the Buss family, led by Dr. Jerry Buss, purchased this team in May of 1979 for like $5 or something like that. And then built it into we mentioned it as one of the most notable franchises in sports that we have right now. And so
I like the idea of Dr. Jerry Buss showing up, looking like John C. Reilly, offering $5 to Jack Kent Cook to buy the Lakers.
That's basically how it went, right?
We were already a historic franchise at the point of which he bought them.
Right.
And then really blew up after that.
Right. And so now we're talking about a completely different thing. And there's drama inside of this. There was a whole bunch of back and forth reporting yesterday by ESPN as to like what's actually happening and who's in control of what. And it brings in a lot of stuff that, once again, it goes way over my head, at least as far as how stuff like this works with big money projects. But I cannot wait to see how this turns out, because it seems like Jeannie Buss is not very willing to give up her stake in the team, and all of her children are very excited to cash out right now, which is frankly amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, grab your money and go. I assume a lot of these people don't have actual money income that flows.
Probably not.
They have valuation income, or not income, but valuation.
They are not serious people.
That family doesn't seem like it'd be serious.
It really doesn't. It truly does not seem serious.
They can have their money and go be unserious in other ways.
But it's weird to me that Jeannie is the Logan Roy of this situation,
Yeah, well, I mean, she was the chosen successor after her father, so
yeah.
I guess that make her Siobhan, but
I guess
actually
it
got
kind
to
of
be
does.
Siobhan.
Maybe this is just the Succession spinoff.
Could be.
So she's Shiv, and it turns out that she ran the company very well for a long time, and then her kids turn against her at the end. Which I think would be really, really fitting, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, all of this tracks, and I can't believe the Succession creators didn't continue along that line.
Yeah.
That all was right there for them.
Maybe that's the Succession reboot. Maybe it's just this.
I can't think of Kendall's kids would turn against him as soon as they have the opportunity.
Instantly, yeah.
And should.
So are we looking at the Succession spinoff here, or are we looking at the Winning Time spinoff? I don't know.
Can I have both?
Either way, it's a TV show.
Can we get a crossover?
I think there's something.
Imagine those worlds
they're both
meeting
HBO.
up.
They're both HBO shows, right?
They're both HBO shows. That could happen.
Yeah.
So I would certainly be interested. It is just like I said, sort of amazing that the Lakers have been sold twice in a 24-month period.
That's amazing.
And it is,
as I said before, Mark Walter's got some other stuff going on.
Right.
That I definitely don't know about.
And it's one of the historic franchises in sports. So it ultimately, I don't think affects what will happen with the team all that much.
She wants to, it seems, remain like the figurehead of the team. And,
It seems like it's not going to happen.
It seems like it's not going to happen. I don't think she's going to get
So it
away
goes.
in this situation. So there you go. Little NBA drama mixed with family drama. How could you not enjoy something like that? All right, we'll take a quick break here. We'll come back. We'll do our college football preview. We're making an amendment. We're tossing the balls.
No more balls.
No more balls. And so we're getting so low on teams, at least Power 4 teams that we haven't talked about in our college football preview yet, that we're just going to have Joey pick out a couple and we're going to go through them and talk about them.
Yeah.
That is what our college football preview has come to.
I think this is where we're at.
Soon enough, we have to nail down like when we're going to do predictions on stuff. Should we come up with this sounds like a job for Joey, actually, like a prediction calendar.
So
prediction of the day.
When I was putting together some of the questions I have for you, it's like, well, do I ask this or are we going to do like a more of a segment related on this? So
thinking of a prediction. I was thinking of a prediction segment. I had some ideas.
Okay.
No, I don't mean like game day. I don't mean like Friday before games. I mean season long.
He's talking about like
season
who's
long.
going to lead the team in this.
Yes.
And so I have some of those questions, but it's also, are we going to save that for another period?
Who's going to win the Big Ten? Who's going to win the college football playoff? Who's going to win? Dang it. The Big Ten West doesn't exist anymore. I wish it did.
Who's going to win the Big Ten West if the division still existed and we made the standings ourselves? Would you just make the division yourself out of those teams that would play?
Iowa.
It'd be Iowa or
Illinois
or Minnesota or Nebraska. Those four.
Not Wisconsin, because you're not in on the Wisconsin Assance.
Not in.
We're definitely not in on anything the Northwestern is doing.
The Bronissance.
The Bronissance. No, you're in on that.
I like David Brown. I just don't think
level.
Their schedule's brutal.
Right.
That's
a great question. Who would win the Big Ten West if the Big Ten West existed? Given their schedules right now, like it doesn't matter, whatever. They have the same schedules that they have. Who is going to be the best team in the artist formerly known as the Big Ten West?
I think the money would be on Iowa because it sort of has to be if you go off of teams that are either ranked right now or where they would fall.
Number 22 in the preseason poll.
But they have their own question marks with what it looks like. And then after that, I mean, you couldn't say Nebraska yet because they haven't been close to being able to do that. I don't think Minnesota's particularly close. I think this is exactly why divisions were blown up right here.
Which is why I hate it. This is what I want. This provides an opportunity for somebody to have a lot to play for. Like all these teams that have a lot to play for.
Well, they have plenty to play for.
Yeah. Oh, cool. The Pinstripe Bowl.
They can finish 9th in the division.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
In the conference.
That's a lot of fun.
Upper half
for everybody. Oh, yeah. We could get an upper half of the Big Ten trophy.
They should flight it out.
They should get flights. They should definitely get flights. In the absence of divisions, they should give you flight prizes.
Yeah, this would be fantastic. You wouldn't know where the flight would come in at. They wouldn't be structured to be the exact same every time.
Yeah.
Because it'd sort of be like, all right, if you have 5 teams that are like right here, maybe the 6th team is the cutoff. They're the second flight. But maybe there's only 3 of those that are worthwhile. So then we go to our next flight would actually be.
First flight gets the first non-college football playoff bowl game.
Yeah.
Second flight gets what? The
championship flight or the playoff team.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then maybe just under that. And then it would be the ReliaQuest Bowl is your first flight champions. Second flight champions would be
Duke's Mayo or Vegas or something like that. Music City.
Yeah.
Nice.
Third flight champion gets Mayoed.
I think third flight champion doesn't really get a bowl game.
They probably don't.
It's going to be very close.
They're probably asked to not come back.
Yeah. And if you get dead last, of course, you are Purdue.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, 6:44 on a Tuesday morning. Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. It's time for our college football preview. We've been through many Power Four teams. How many, Joey? I mean, we've hit probably of the, what are there, 65 or 68 Power Four teams?
Just trying to do the math. So there's 17 in the ACC, 16 in the SEC, so 33, 18, 51. 51. Are there actually 12 in the Big 12, or are there more now?
There's 14.
So then we're at 65 power teams plus Notre Dame 66.
66. I think that math is actually pretty spot on. Well, I know the math is right, but we may have forgotten about a Power 5 team or two.
Yeah, it's possible. The Big 12 is the only one that I don't feel like I know the number.
I'm almost positive there's 14. There might be 16.
Because it was 10, and then they added 4 more, right? Like that's what it was.
I guess so.
That sounds right.
Anyway, so let's just say that there's 66 Power Conference teams. We have done how many, Joey?
I'm including group of 5 teams on the list I have. So we've done like a total of 47 teams.
So how many G5s are there?
I'm counting 6,
probably
7,
probably
8,
half.
9 teams.
So 30 some.
Oh,
we've done
11 actually.
All right, we've done about half of the Power Conference teams. So Joey, you had
Tracks.
a couple teams. We tested you with this.
Yes.
You had a couple teams that you thought would be interesting that we should talk about today, and we're going ballsless.
And I'm surprised.
No balls.
I'm surprised we haven't got to these 2 teams, but I'm going to pick one from the ACC. That is Clemson. And then
Clemson!
Do you want me to tell you the other team I had?
No.
Okay, so we'll do Clemson first.
Clemson, I will say, there is a little bit of positive buzz about Clemson.
There is?
Yes.
Because it hasn't been most of the offseason.
It is a zag of all the negative buzz on the, like there is a
hey, don't forget about Clemson.
There's a re-Clemsoning.
Like they became Clemson.
Yes. No, but like yes, it's a little bit like that.
Yeah.
People, I saw a tweet yesterday that was like, Dabo's got a different feel to him right now, or something.
There was like
and they took transfers and
oh gosh, someone's big point in their video that they tweeted out was that they liked Chad Morris and thought he'd be an interesting fit at Clemson for the OC. And it's like, yeah, he used to be there.
Yeah,
that's where he was before he was a head coach.
That did happen once upon a time. So they are picked 4th in the ACC, according to our friend Brett Ciancia from Pick 6 Previews. The ACC, I will remind you, is a garbage conference.
Miami.
Okay,
so Miami, I would guess SMU's ahead of Clemson.
SMU's 3rd.
And then who would be second?
Would Virginia be second?
Nope.
Florida State can't be second.
This team.
Louisville.
Yes.
Yeah.
Louisville's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So 4th in the ACC last year, of course, Clemson lost 5 games in the regular season. LSU to start off with, and then Georgia Tech, Syracuse, SMU, and Duke. None of which are bad, like terrible losses on face. They beat South Carolina, Furman, Louisville, Florida State, Boston College, North Carolina, and Troy in
their best win there being Louisville, which Louisville blew that game.
Right. Yeah. And so it was a down year. They've lost at least 4 games in now each of the last 3 seasons going into this year. Once again, it's like, yes, they're not a national championship contender anymore, but are they a top 25 team? Yeah. They're I think they're,
yeah.
I could pretty much pencil them in as a top 25 team.
What you basically described as Nebraska post 2001, other than a couple years through 2014.
So are you thinking that this is going to be the big blow up year?
I don't necessarily think it's a blow up year. I don't think it's a glow up year.
Okay. So staying a little bit of
kind
the
of
same.
Yeah.
All right. So they play LSU.
Loss.
Georgia Southern. Yeah, we can just do this. Georgia Southern.
Win.
North Carolina.
Win.
At Cal.
Win.
Miami.
Loss. 3-2.
Charleston Southern.
Win. 4-2.
Virginia Tech.
5-2.
At Florida State.
6-2.
At Syracuse.
7-2.
Georgia Tech at home.
7-3.
At Duke.
8-3.
At our home against South Carolina.
9-3.
It's not bad.
So 9-3, potentially 10-2.
Everybody's dogging these guys. They're like, I think they're going to go 9-3.
only had a couple games in there, and one of them I have a loss to Georgia Tech. They could lose potentially to Virginia Tech or Florida State.
These games, the point that is underscored here is these games are just a little bit more of toss-ups than they
ever used to be.
Yeah, right.
Also underscored in there is the ACC doesn't have that many interesting teams.
No.
And I've talked myself into some of them being interesting.
They don't play Louisville this year.
Right.
They don't play SMU.
They don't play Pitt.
And Pitt is an absolute agent of chaos every single year.
Well, they're just they're the team that just sort of messes with everyone's view of what that conference might be.
Yeah. The outlook from Brett Ciancia, 2025 was a total disappointment with 9 eventual NFL draft picks, the most veteran lineup in the league. They fell to their worst season since 2010. Sweeney doubled down on this anti-transfer plan, added 0 offensive linemen or quarterbacks, but Clemson's high school recruiting still keeps them in ACC contention. They are no longer on the dynasty tier, but should remain a top 25 team with a roster packed with former 4-star recruits. I think 9-3 actually seems like a pretty good spot for them to land in. All right, what was your other team, Joey?
This team is out from the SEC.
Okay.
Alabama Crimson Tide. We've
talked around this a lot, but we've never had Alabama in the post-Ty Simpson era.
Fascinating. So they are picked.
You want to talk about there being a little bit of a, hey, maybe it's not what we thought, Buzz. Ty Simpson's performance in the preseason got some people fired up.
But everyone always said, hey, with him with McVay, you never know.
Right.
Like that was always the caveat with that one.
There was also some people fired up about J.J. McCarthy's first preseason game. I just want to point that out.
The Tide are picked in a tie for 7th.
Ouch.
In the SEC.
Man, imagine telling the 2015 version of you that these two teams would be like 10 years later, leaking oil going into 2026.
Who's our coach? I'd like to fire him. Well, the answer to that question is
a man they just extended for a lot of money.
Kalen DeBoer, who now this is always a perspective. Now, Alabama fans obviously lack any perspective, but perspective is important. If Kalen DeBoer hit the open market today, he would be the most sought after coach. Like he's one of the, I think he's still probably one of the best 10 coaches in college football.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Right. But they're picked 7th in the SEC, and they just got off the Nick Saban era.
So put another way, if Dabo Sweeney was available, I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If Kalen DeBoer was available, 2 less national titles, a lot less accomplished over his career, it would be immediately back up the Brinks truck.
Because you're like, sweet, he's dropping down, and like we got a chance.
And specifically here in Nebraska, it's a guy that's the Midwestern guy that grew up with an appreciation of Nebraska football.
I'd be fired up.
Recruits the area.
If Nebraska ended up with Kalen DeBoer, I'd be so fired up.
I think he's on so many people's dream hire list.
Yeah. So
not that there's an opening or will be one at Nebraska at the end of 2026.
No, I wouldn't. No, nobody's saying that. Last year they lost in the conference championship game to Georgia. They lost to Oklahoma in the regular season. They lost hilariously to Florida State, which set off that whole train of motion where people were not happy with Kalen DeBoer. And then they got absolutely crushed by Indiana in the college football playoff. So that sets up this year for DeBoer, where they play, ready? East Carolina.
Win.
At Kentucky.
Win.
Florida State.
Win.
South Carolina.
Win.
At Mississippi State.
Win.
Georgia.
Lost. So they're 5-1.
At Tennessee.
Win. 6-1.
Texas A&M.
Lost. 6-2.
At LSU.
Lost. 6-3.
At Vanderbilt.
Win. 7-3.
Chattanooga.
Win. 8-3.
Auburn.
Win. 9-3.
9-3. 9 wins for Kalen DeBoer. Not going to make the playoff.
And that's with no losses to anybody that isn't ranked lower than them or perceived to be lower.
They are a little bit more susceptible to losing some of these games, much like Clemson. Clemson and Alabama are 2 good teams to sort of pair together. Joey, nice job. It says, it feels strange placing Alabama this low in the SEC projection. I launched Pick 6 previews in 2012 amidst the Saban dynasty, and no Alabama team has had this many preseason question marks. The line of scrimmage, school worst run game, and star players transferring out. Alabama placed 14th in the game grader last year due to 4 one-score survival wins. In the 2026 team, looks like a downgrade in every position room from last year, aside from their always elite secondary. So let me look at these position rankings in the SEC in how he does it. Let's see. Gosh, I guess he doesn't do position rankings. He does like game grader and then last 3 years game grader, all SEC team. They don't have anybody on the first, second, or third team offense.
Wow.
On the all conference preseason team.
Which offense is kind of what DeBoer's known for to begin with.
Yep. And then one guy in the first team defense. This is according to Pick Six previews. One guy in the second team defense and one guy in the third team defense.
That can't be right about offense, right? Because what about
they have
receiver?
One offensive lineman on the second team. And then Coleman Williams is on the third team.
Okay.
Yep.
Man, he really dropped off last year.
Yeah, there's some good wide receivers in the SEC. Obviously, led by Cam Coleman, the guy who makes crazy catches in practice.
He's very good.
There you go. Clemson and Alabama, 2 interesting teams in college football this year. The New Life writes in, this ain't your daddy's Bama. No, it certainly doesn't seem like it. But maybe chaos will come their way, or maybe they'll come to their senses or something like that. Although I'm sort of doubting that part. We'll come back 7 o'clock hour up on the other side on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. Now, I want to see if you're on board for this, Schaefer. Nick writes in on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Good future use for the balls. Bring back the balls when Ken Palm's preseason rankings come out.
I think that's a use of it. I mean, we could basically but you do it as someone suggested, where the number corresponds, because I assume the Ken Palm runs all the way
370, whatever it is. Yeah.
I don't know if we would have information on every team, but
we could always click on them.
We could always click on
Ken Palm.
So I've never been a Ken Palm member, so I don't know. I don't know how you would read the info exactly.
You just click on a team and then you.
No, I get that, but then pull it up.
It does their like record prediction.
Okay,
like
right.
it gives them a percentage at every game. Yeah,
got it.
Also, what this Ken Palm thing, I've done this a couple of times during the offseason. You click on a team now for all my Ken Palm sickos. If you click on a team, it turns into dark mode. It's very
Ken Palm got dark.
Dude, it's crazy.
First Nebraska, then Ken Palm.
I don't know when the Ken Palm drops, but I'm excited for it to happen. I saw this website yesterday. It's called shootyhoops.com. Have you seen this website?
No, but I'm excited just based on the name alone.
No, I haven't seen that.
So you're going to love this. Shootyhoops.com's conference previews are coming out, and they do they're super interactive and fun to look at. I don't know if it gives you it's not Phil Steele super hardcore information. It's actually the exact opposite of Phil Steele. Phil Steele will give you 1 million words in no particular order, and you have to decipher all the information, but the information is there. The Shooty Hoops thing will give you a bunch of really good information, but it's very easily digestible and readable. It's good stuff. I was looking at the Big East yesterday.
Yeah, I'm now playing around with this. Nebraska's projected as a 4 seed in their latest bracketology.
They haven't done the Big Ten preview over there yet, but they have done the Big East. I think they did the Big East preview.
It does not appear that they believe Creighton will make the NCAA tournament.
Yes, that is correct.
Wow. They have them 61st.
They have them finishing in the conference at 8-12 and 17-15 overall.
Wow,
which is nuts. But their range for conference finish is 4 through 11.
Yeah,
they could get last or they could get fourth.
The little graphics that are kind of built to look like the NBA Jam.
Guys.
And I like the site a lot. I'm just going to go ahead and bookmark this so I can double back to it throughout the year.
John writes in on the text line, what is going on? I got to my desk and turned the show back on, and we're talking about Ken Palm. It's August. This is disgusting. I disagree, John. This is not disgusting.
This isn't even we're going to have more basketball to get to.
I know we have roster movement
Should we just go into that now?
Do you want to talk about Frederick King?
I would like you to tell me everything I need to know about Frederick King.
He's back.
What if I didn't know that he had left?
That really?
Well, what if I don't know who Frederick King is?
Ah, dang it. Fred King,
who's that huge guy?
Our dear sweet baby boy, sat and played about 6 minutes a game behind Ryan Kalkbrenner for the last, seems like 100 years.
Okay.
However long Ryan Kalkbrenner
was
here.
The Wesley Rosa of Ryan Kalkbrenner.
But he actually played.
Well, so might Wesley Rosa.
I'm not so sure about that. But Fred King, and then there was a couple games where Kalkbrenner got hurt. Maybe he got kicked in the nuts and he had to sit for a couple games. And Fred King shows up and it's like, oh, I kind of like this. People, he was almost like, and I don't want to disparage, he was almost like a backup quarterback. People just, there was a hive for Fred King. And at the same time, he's a really important piece of a team because he is a steady, serviceable backup big, which Creighton did not have at this stage of the offseason. And he was a part of the lawsuit or whatever the hell it is in the one in Kentucky. I think there's two of them that are getting guys
one in Colorado, and then
maybe it's Colorado, California, Kentucky, whatever it is. They're getting people eligible all across the country. And Fred King, who was all Missouri Valley Conference at Murray State last year under Coach Ryan Miller, who left Creighton staff 2 years ago, He went with Mason Miller and a couple other guys to play at Murray State last year for the Jacers. He was good and now has an extra year of eligibility, and Creighton says, come on back. We need a backup big. And there, of course, is the conversation regarding Oswin at the moment, who may or may not be injured for some period of time.
Ooh.
And so a safety net is something that Creighton desired and needed. And what a perfect guy. I mean, like an absolutely perfect guy to bring in at this stage of the game. Your practices literally start like in 2 weeks.
Man, so there's a part of me that wonders if there's concern about Oswin, if Jason Green just saw his season flash before his eyes as a repeat of last year. You know, like it's
people definitely
it's
started
a GTA thing with Franklin. Like
people definitely started.
Here we go again.
They definitely. I've heard a lot of Owen Freeman conversation over the last couple days. That's for sure.
So
it's not that. It's not that.
Is it possible that Jason Green would be the most excited to see this Fred King? Because
it is possible.
He wouldn't likely have to play much back.
What do you mean this Fred King? He is. We love Fred King.
Look,
They were teammates.
I don't know anything about Fred King. So that's why I'm saying this Fred
King, as Joey would know.
I have a page pulled open of him right now.
Was my lone post-game player interview the one time I did play-by-play for Creighton basketball on the radio at DePaul in January of 2025. Fred King got the honor that night, and it was great. We had a great, probably 2.5-minute conversation.
Okay.
Welcome back, Fred King. This is great.
He had 6 points and 4 rebounds in 12 minutes at DePaul, making 3 dunks on January 21st.
I asked him about his dunks.
Very nice.
I was like, Fred, how about those dunks?
I wanted to know in his bio if this had made it in, that news about being on the post-game radio show.
There was nothing
there
was nothing about me
but
in there.
The game was good enough that it did get highlighted amongst his highlights.
It was a very ho-hum game, not a memorable game at all, but I do remember talking
memorable for Fred King.
It was memorable for Fred King. He got to do the post-game interview with the backup radio guy, which I'm sure was great. In all honesty, it is a huge addition for them, not because I think it raises their floor. Like
sure.
People were thinking about backup big. Is it going to have to be Wesley Rosa? Is it going to have to be Carter Gibbons, who is, really skinny and I think will be a good player one day? Like, do these guys have to be forced into play right now, especially with the non-con that Creighton has? And then with the potential Oswin injury, like, does it get even more serious? And so Fred just clears up all of that stuff. He's not going to get you 10 and 10 a game or anything like that. I don't think he's going to be all Big East or anything like that. But man, he's a serviceable big, and he comes in a situation where like Oswin, whether or not he's going to be healthy by the time the season rolls around, I would think. He's not going to play as many minutes as Kalkbrenner was. He's not going to be a 35-minute a game guy. And so there's going
to be most bigs aren't going to play as many minutes as Kalkbrenner.
There's going to be a role for Frederick King on this team, which is exciting. And then you could still do your small ball stuff with Jason Green and all the stuff like that. So it's a good deal for
Jason Green.
Thank you for the Jays.
And potentially still minutes for Wesley Rosa.
I'm not so sure.
Man, you really don't want Wesley Rosa.
No, it's not that I don't want Wesley Rosa.
You spent the entire time since April basically rooting against Wesley Rosa.
They just got another backup big. Where will the minutes for Wesley Rosa be?
Well, if Oswin isn't going to play, he becomes a backup big.
No, Oswin is going to play, just maybe not in practice for a period of time.
Okay, well, if Oswin doesn't play, then you have a backup big to the backup big.
He would be the backup big to the backup big.
Yeah. So you never know. It could be a
Schaefer's driving the Wesley Rosa.
It could be
bus.
like a Leo Curtis situation.
Yeah.
He just pops in randomly, and
he did have that one game against Michigan?
Yeah, the number 1 team in the country. You never know.
It got people excited.
You never know when the starting center on your team might have an upset stomach and unavailable to play.
Oh, it does happen sometimes.
It does happen.
It does. Sometimes they get mono.
So you want to make sure that you have that covered.
Yeah. That's good.
I can confirm with Schaefer there are 3 dunks from Freddie King. I had to go back to the highlights.
Oh no!
You didn't believe
have,
Creighton's bio?
You have the sound?
I got the sound.
Okay, Joey, give it to me.
Here's the 3rd dunk. Zugic inside, 2-handed slam by Fred King, who gives a big smile back to the bench. Fred's 3rd dunk of the night. It's 55-28.
Did he do the
55-28.
Did he do the Shaq point after the dunk?
He must have did a big smile.
He did a big smile.
What a terrible play-by-play.
Good segment.
That was from that night, too. He gives a big smile. Jeez, give me a break. I was just excited to be there, I guess.
I thought it sounded great.
Thank you.
And I think Fred King sounds great too.
Hey, the first move for the new Big East commissioner is to put Big East Media Day not at Madison Square Garden, but at the Marriott Marquis. I don't know what's going on.
They don't want you at Madison Square Garden anymore?
Well, I think I would
Not
imagine
you won't be there.
they're still cleaning up the security efforts from the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce wedding on July 4th. So, you got to clean that thing out and get it ready to go for actual
There's
basketball
just like
season.
a looming stench in the building
I would
that they're
imagine.
trying to fumigate, or what's
They still are getting all the people who snuck in and are hiding in the crevices of Madison Square Garden. They're still cleaning all those.
They've had
people
so
out.
much time to leave. Why haven't they left already?
And so that's why Big East Media Basketball Day is at not at Madison Square Garden. It's at the Marriott Marquis, which nobody actually cares about, but it is interesting that it's not at Madison Square Garden. I don't know what's going on that day at Madison Square Garden.
The Big East Media Days for basketball just a one-day event?
Yes.
When is it?
Sense.
The October 1st, I believe.
Does Bishop go out for that?
No.
I don't know if they'd have like the broadcasters out there as well.
I don't think so.
Said October
like a big
1st.
There's no
broadcasters
real
event.
Radio Row or anything like that at Big East Media Day. Although we could start it if you want to.
I mean, we could. If it's covered, sure. If they want to send us out there,
absolutely.
I'm not going to say no.
You said October 1st, Connor.
October 1st, yes.
The New York Rangers hockey team is hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning on October 1st at 7 p.m.
Disgusting. Hockey? You kidding me?
On October 1st?
Preseason hockey.
They could have picked
I was
also
gonna say
any
they
other
couldn't
day.
have started the year yet. Right. So
Speaking of preseason hockey, they could just move that over to the Carnesecca Arena over at Queens. Might as well.
The Rangers at Carnesecca.
Might as well.
Nice.
the Rangers are playing Queens.
I don't think that place is probably fit for hockey, but I love the
Or
idea.
play
of
it
that.
in that arena over in that Nassau Arena or whatever it
Put
is.
it on Long Island. You put
You
the
can make them go
Rangers
to
on
Long Island?
Put the Rangers on Long
That
Island.
building can barely support the Islanders,
It's
let alone
it's preseason hockey.
I
Who
have an
cares?
idea. Move it to
Joey
Omaha.
over here just talking down on other preseason sports.
Now, do we move the Rangers or Big East Media Day to Omaha? Rangers preseason hockey or Big East Basketball Media Day? Which one do you
Move
want?
Big East Basketball Media Day to Omaha, so then you guys could do a show from CHI Health Center, and then
We could
Mike
talk to
Schaefer-
Rick Pitino
Mike Schaefer could talk to Fred King.
and Rick Pitino and
Well,
Dan
I mean,
Hurley.
I'd have an opportunity to talk to Fred King without it being Big East Media Days. We could just set something up. Fred King could join the show.
Yeah.
And he could talk about that time that he hit a big smile after
Big
dunk.
smile.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Jason Green!
if you're telling me the Rangers would come here to play a preseason hockey game, I'd actually probably be interested.
Haven't we had preseason hockey games here before?
An
Or is
NHL one?
Or is it just preseason basketball?
There's
Preseason
definitely been
basketball.
preseason basketball. There's been a couple at Pinnacle.
You remember there was that one, I think it was Denver, Minnesota years ago. They played in Lincoln. I remember Lincoln
They played two in Lincoln
Remember
for
that.
sure because McDermott played here with the Bulls one time.
against Corver and the Hawks.
And I was Hoiberg coaching that Bulls team?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, he was hosting.
Wow, I didn't even
Because
think about that.
Dwayne Wade was on that team with Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler,
No,
Dwight
I
Howard.
remember it being a cool event. I went to it. Enjoyed it. I would go to a preseason hockey game if the Rangers were playing. Who were they playing, Joey?
The Lightning.
Yeah, the Lightning.
Yeah, if that was here in Omaha, I would go to that.
Absolutely. Sign me up. And
Yeah.
then Big East Media Day goes back to Madison Square Garden.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Except I guess the Rangers fans that wanted to go to the preseason
Omaha.
hockey game in New York.
Has never hosted an official NHL preseason or regular
Why
We
is
season.
the
should make
first time for
this
everything?
a mission of the show that we help Omaha land a preseason hockey.
We could
What
get
will Omaha get first? A Buc-ee's, another professional volleyball team, or a preseason hockey game?
It could be preseason hockey if we put our hearts to it.
yeah, we'll get
can
McMaster
make
on
this
board.
happen.
We'll get McMaster on board to get Chicago over here,
We'll just have to call up Gary Bettman and be like, Gary, we got to make this happen. And
or get Minnesota.
very
you could be
accessible
interviewed. You could be interviewed on Middays with Matt, where he ranked you last out of all of the commissioners.
I know he really, for
which
some
is
reason,
just incredible.
hated Gary Bettman. I have no opinion on him at all.
Same. He was first. He was the easiest to like.
Dan writes in, first year removed from he's talking about baseball. First year removed from a season. I thoroughly miss Creighton baseball. Never thought I'd say it. I love when Dan keeps texting that. That's a great job by him. John writes in, Creighton needed Fred King for all the times that Kalkbrenner got mono. That was just the one time. But yes, it was like several games though.
Yeah.
He had that great game. He had a great game. Creighton was terrible. It was a conference opener that year. So I guess, I don't know, what year would that have been? 24, 25, I suppose. And they were at Marquette, and Creighton played so poorly, but Fred King was like the only bright spot. He was like the only guy who did anything good in that game. But it was a disaster game.
So like Marquette this past year?
Yes. For whatever reason, they have real true disaster games against Marquette. They always play Marquette on the road, like early in the conference season, like really early in the conference season.
You're talking about that Georgetown game on December 18th after they went to Alabama. He scored 10 points, went 2 for 3.
No, it was a Marquette game. He played really well against Marquette at some point. I don't know. It was on the road. Text from the 220 boys. So Mike, you want a Big Fred or Jason Green jersey?
I'm good on the jersey.
Jason Green. You can do Jason Green.
Jason Green!
Or Fred King and his big smile. Joey, do you still have it up? Fred King with a big smile.
Oh, hold on. I gotta find it.
I gotta put that on the board, by the way. Oh, you deleted it? It's gone? Sad.
Yeah, I want big smile on the board.
Yeah, we gotta put big
Well,
smile on the
I don't
board.
have it. I don't have it on the next gen. I'll have to cut it out and put it on there.
We'll get there. Also basketball related yesterday. I guess this is our basketball segment.
Hooray.
Jamarcus Lawrence. He is going to play college basketball, or at least he is intending to play college basketball next year. And it will not be at Nebraska. According to the Field of 68, he is in the California version of the lawsuit that's getting people eligible. I don't know how any of this works. I just go with the news when it happens. But he will not be returning to Lincoln. Michigan, Fresno State, Troy, and USC. Both Michigan and USC, by the way, come to Lincoln next year to play at Nebraska basketball. Those are the potential landing spots for Jamarcus Lawrence, who it feels like this is probably initiated from Nebraska's side. They're just like, it's too late. Sorry.
I felt like when this would come up, people were surprised that I was downplaying a reunion here, and I just didn't see how it was going to work from the Nebraska side of it. Like, I think you would love to have Jamarcus Lawrence on balance, but you went out and you gave those minutes away. You probably are already strapped cash-wise, so I don't know how much there would be NIL, and maybe that's not a big part of this for him, but you're not going to have the role that he had.
Just put yourself in his shoes, right? Like, he's got he was just gifted an extra year of eligibility. And yes, you could come back to Nebraska, a place where you had success last year, but what they're telling you and what you can see with your own eyes, if you're Jamarcus Lawrence, you don't know what your role is going to be.
Right.
Like, maybe it's a lot, maybe it's not, but it's at the very least inconsistent, and you're going to have to really, really work for it at this stage in the game. So why not go somewhere that needs you, right, and it says, yeah, we can really, really crystal clear paint out what your role is going to be for us right now, today, and like that would be just way more enticing to me as a college basketball player who has already transferred and then transferred again. Like, it's not like, he was super committed to just like Nebraska and being at Nebraska.
I think that if this had occurred in the spring, like had he known that he'd be able to come back to Nebraska, or had he known he'd be able to get an extra year, I think he'd be back in Lincoln.
I agree.
I think just the timing of it makes it a casualty. I think Nebraska, again, on balance, would love to have a guy who's already played for you for 3 seasons that had 2 of the biggest shots of your year, that played a fantastic game, or really it was more of a half. He wasn't as good in the second half when you were shorthanded at Michigan. Like, no stranger to big moments, big plays, can help you out, all of those things. I just also think like there comes a time where you sort of just have to move forward, and Nebraska's moving forward because they didn't know if they would have him back, and they don't have the minutes to exactly give. They're going to struggle to figure out how they're going to play a rotation as it is anyways, which is a good problem to have. But that would have only added to it. And
I totally get it if you're Fred. Like, if you're Fred Hoiberg, we were talking about Fred King earlier.
Now, if Jamarcus comes to you and he's like, hey, I'm willing to accept any role that you have for me, I just want to be, if he's Kendall Blue of last year, you know how Fred Hoiberg would talk about, Kendall never complained.
Yep.
And that was a guy who transferred from St. Thomas, started at St. Thomas, and then barely plays for Nebraska, but was apparently a great practice player and a great teammate. Like, if Jamarcus just wants that, then you're probably not going to, but I don't know that that's the role that he'd be willing to accept. I don't know, and exactly, like, he's good enough to go play. And then if someone like Michigan, because LJ Kaysen left, they might need a guard, like, to be their bench guard, their first bench guard option. That might be a great role for Jamarcus.
I think so too.
And so there's just more of an opportunity. It sounds weird to say that. There's just more of an opportunity elsewhere than there is in Nebraska.
I think he's a fine player and could make a difference for somebody this year. And certainly could have made, like you said, Schaefer, could have made a difference for Nebraska.
I think it'd be way more the intangibles than like that they're losing from it than anything.
But more so, like, if you would have thought about, if you would have thought about this, if you would have held a spot for him all summer long and said, nope, this is your role, we're going to get you eligible, and we are not going to recruit to whatever, like, and do that. Like, then you could have done, it would have been a gamble because you didn't know if he was going to get eligible or not. And then if you think about it from Nebraska's standpoint, it's not, you always want to have good players on your team and productive players and proven production on your team. So it's not so much that, but you're so far down the road here. You've gone through sessions of summer workouts, practice is about to start, and you have created an idea of what your team is going to be, or at least the base, I think, of what your team is going to be already and without him. And so you throw that wrench into there, and it probably ends up being more it's just another thing to sort of think about.
Yeah.
Clarity is important. And I think, we were talking about Creighton before. They have a bunch of guys who we don't know what roles are going to be. It's great to have depth. It's great to have all these different things. Like we saw what happened last year. Creighton had depth, or, quote unquote depth, and a lot of it got hurt, at the beginning of the season. But I think it's better to have clarity, and it's better to have, like, all right, these are our roles, and it's defined. Part of the early part of the season is figuring out what that is. And so maybe Jamarcus would have had a chance to work his way back into that. But I do think you want to have that pretty defined. Hey, here's our 7-8 guys. We're just going to roll with them.
Right. Because
Kendall Blue never made it into that last year.
Exactly. And I just think it'd be really hard to ask a guy who's been that big of a part of everything for you to just completely take a back seat. Like, this isn't the Connor Essegian situation where I don't really expect him to be a big part of what Nebraska's doing next year. Maybe he plays his way into it. And the shooting and everything, it just picks him up. But I just think, a guy like Jamarcus, he's not going to accept that role. Even if he tells you he would, you're probably smart enough to realize that you could just be heading to trouble down the line if he's unhappy with not getting playing time, or somebody else is unhappy that their playing time is being cut into because he's playing so well.
It's just a waste of his time.
Right.
Like, if he's going to come here and not get a crack and sit on the bench or like whatever it is, like,
I think
somebody's going to, like, also you have guaranteed, or you've talked with all these other players on your roster about what their role is going to be like, and they've practiced for it already, and their role all of a sudden gets upended on August 18th. Like, it's just, so I all this is to say, to be clear, like, I get it. Yeah. I think they would have
this
probably
shouldn't have been a surprise to people, but I think it was.
Yeah.
I think the assumption was, they'll get Jamarcus back, because of course he'll come back, and of course Nebraska wants him back. And it's kind of similar to the Bearcat thing, where it's like, all right, well, it worked last year But Nebraska has kind of a different vision for what they want things to look like, or how the money and everything has to line up, or the playing time, or the structure. And I also think it matters that they already went through the period that they did in June. Like, they kind of already have figured out what they want to do. I mean, it's not refined, but you'd add this into it and it changes that in a pretty substantial way.
402-951-1620. Want to hear from you all, whether it's on the text line or on the hotline. You could also tweet at us at @HappenSchafe on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed, or you can comment in on YouTube as Buff Scorpion does. Reminder, folks, Husker football is less than 3 weeks away, so let's talk about Husker basketball. I agree, which is why we just did that. Or he said, let's
Didn't
talk
we
about
talk
basketball.
about football during the basketball season,
Oh,
though?
we're going to talk about football. Don't worry. But not before we talk about museums.
Yeah.
Whoa.
If you didn't like the basketball talk, you are going to love our Tiers Tuesday. Power rankings with Tiers on a Tuesday.
Jeff writes in, by the way, one more on this. He says Jamar already replied on social media and he would have come back to Nebraska if he could. The rulings came too late. Yeah, I saw that. I think there's a lot of things that could sort of mean, but I do think it was, for the most part, pretty mutual. Like,
yeah,
I understand.
I don't think there's sour grapes here.
No,
I think he's going to be welcomed back with open arms whenever he wants to come back as an alum,
Yep.
It just didn't work because of the time.
All right, power rankings with Tiers. I cannot wait to see where this ends up. What do we talk about? Museums, landmarks. What is another word that I asked you about last
Historic
night?
places.
Historic places. I said, do monuments count?
Yes.
Monuments count.
Monuments and landmarks are kind of the same.
What
for
about
me.
national parks?
So
No.
I was assuming that would be separate, which I'm glad you guys did.
I would basically include it because there's an element of national parks that have museum-esque stuff in it.
Oh. Well, you'll have to give me an example during the tier list because there's really no rules. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Today is the final day to sign up for 1620 The Zone's golf tournament, which is coming up on this Friday. We're putting all the finishing touches on, and if you want to get your team in, this is your last call. So sign up at 1620thezone.com. Get your four-player team in. We're playing at Miracle Hill on Friday at 8:30. Our show will be out there. Matt will be out there. Unsportsmanlike Conduct will be over at the Phoenix, which is where the after party is, across the street at 120th and Blondell. You'll get food. You'll get whole prizes. You'll have chances to win even more, including a $10,000 hole-in-one hole, proudly sponsored by Langfeld Overhead Doors. The tournament itself brought to you by Cutwater T-Box. We cannot wait to be out there on Friday morning. Mike Schaefer asked, he said, we're bringing our golf clubs, right? And I said, oh, yeah.
You get those swings in.
We're bringing our golf clubs. There ain't no doubt about that. We even to just take dry hacks during the breaks.
Oh, man.
I'll be very good with that.
I want to hit a drive for somebody at some point. That's just what I want to do.
Maybe somebody will ask.
They'll be like, "Hey, do you want to step in? With this guy hurt his elbow, so we got an extra ball that needs to be hit out.
He's
there.
Yannick Sinner,
and I want to do it. He's
So
Yannick Sinner.
You like that
Do
one?
you think
I
there's
love
going to be
that
some
one.
Yannick
Perfect.
Sinners that are in the?
Oh, my arm hurts. I can't play anymore. Mike Schaefer,
No,
why don't
no,
you hit my
no,
drive?
Are we going to put retired next to their
No,
name?
no,
on the,
no. Someone's gonna get cramps from the heat. That's what happened at Roland Garros.
There you go. Hopefully that
I
doesn't
mean,
happen.
that is
So if it-
always a
if
possibility.
it gets too hot.
All right, we have a fun tier list today.
Let's do it.
Museums and monuments.
Dude, how did this even end up on our initial list?
I can't remember why
I
we
don't either.
because I think we were talking about like the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And it was like
What other
That has
Hall of
to-
Fames would you want to go to? And
Yes.
then it led into museums we like.
it was last week we did this. We put it on the side. This is good. So my first tier is been there and loved it.
Okay.
Okay, so
I didn't include any museums I haven't been to.
I did.
Okay. All right.
So here's the thing you need to know first. Some museums are more serious than others. All right.
Accurate.
Just because I liked the museum doesn't mean I like the thing that happened because the museum exists.
Okay. Okay. That's an important distinction. I would hope that people understand.
I'm just saying.
That
Because
if you
my
attend
number
certain
number
museums-
one museum is the 9/11 museum.
Yeah.
It is a great museum.
So I just call that ground zero because it's all encompassing thing.
Yeah. You've been, right?
Yeah.
It's
I've been there.
an incredible experience.
Somber.
And I would advise anyone if you are in the area to go. And so that's my number one. Baseball Hall of Fame, Negro Leagues Museum, Statue of Liberty, and the National Air and Space Museum in DC. Those are my top tier
yeah.
museums.
Oh, that's
I
a pretty-
love air and space.
That's a pretty cool museum in DC. Are you talking about the one in Dulles, right next to Dulles Airport? Because they have
on the National Mall.
It's the National Air and Space.
There's
Museum.
also one at right next to Dulles Airport in Virginia. It has the space shuttle over there. One of the space shuttles over there. It's really nice.
I never been to that one. I like this one.
I do like that one. It's on my list as well.
Okay.
All right, my top tier called Absolutely Elite. The first one, and this is the best museum I think I've ever been to in my entire life. I don't know who's going to pass it up. They're continually adding to it, making it better. And anytime you're in New Orleans and need to stop drinking for a period of time, you need to go to the World War II Museum there. It is truly remarkable. It's one of those where you walk in and you go over to this wall and you more or less get assigned a soldier that would have served during World War II or someone that was involved in the World War II process. And then you get on this sort of like train and you're given this key card that links up with who your character is, and you can follow their journey throughout their entire trip. And of course, it's broken up in the different theaters and everything else. It's absolutely a phenomenal interactive museum.
Tremendous.
And it continually adding to stuff. Severe was just down there in July. He was telling me how much more they've added since the last time he had been there like a year ago. Could not speak more highly of it. The second one here, the second most interactive museum I've ever been to. There's a little island just off of Iceland, Westamayor, or kind of that's how it's closely pronounced when botched by someone that's not speaking Icelandic. It is a volcano museum.
Whoa!
This island had this island, which is a volcano, just like Reykjavik, or not, just like Iceland is a volcano, had a 1979 eruption that just more or less lava covered the town. And so,
Whoa.
or sections of the town. So then the town built on top of the lava eventually, and everything else. So there is a
Lava
house
Town.
in this museum. You go in and then you go down because you're going down into where a lot of this volcanic activity was. There is a house that was just covered by a volcano. That structure is still standing.
Whoa.
And so everything that was in the house is preserved and all of that. And so they have a lot of interactivity with that museum as well. It's called the Eldhimar Museum in, again, Westmayor, Iceland. And then the Met. The Met is
The Met.
unbelievable museum in New York City.
Cool.
Like,
Nice.
one of the coolest days I've ever had was I just went there at opening and walked. I mean, you just walk. It's an enormous museum.
It's basically what you
that
do in New
has
York City. Yeah.
So many things in it that's beyond just art, but incredible museum.
All right. We got to go quick here.
Sorry.
So I have 4 more tiers. The second one is called I Am Interested. These are places that I have never been to, but I am interested. The Louvre, I'm interested. The Griffith Observatory, I am interested. The Alamo, I am interested.
Okay.
The Space Center in Houston, and then something that has to do with like Gettysburg, something something like that. One of those. I am
a Civil War battlefield.
Yes, I am interested in those.
Okay. This one next year is called Nerding Out Field Museum. I don't think I have it on there. The Natural History Museum should be on there as well.
I've been
in New York City. That's amazing. Air and Space Museum, World War I Museum in Kansas City is fantastic. The Smithsonian in general in DC, fantastic.
There's like 100 different arms of it, you know, and stuff like that. This one is called Hell Yeah, Mount Rushmore, the Gateway Arch, the Kearney Archway, and the National Museum of Natural History.
Okay.
Shout out to Kearney Archway and all my arches out there.
This is called Favorites of Mine because they're all sort of museums in their own weird way, but they're not thought of as museums. The Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, incredible museum of the history of that building with the Grand Ole Opry and everything else. Highly recommend if you're there. Heritage Field, which is a museum of all of the great Cleveland baseball players out in center field. They have monuments, they have plaques, they have all of it that you can go visit during the game. And then the Negro League Museum in Kansas City.
Fantastic.
Another favorite of mine as well.
This category is called Still Hell Yeah. This is where we get into things that aren't really specific, but sort of ideas. Anyway, this one is specific. The Sports Gambling Hall of Fame, which is located in the giant sports book at Circa in Las Vegas. It's at this little corner.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It has a bunch of guys.
I want to go to the Mob Hall of Fame or Mob Museum.
Same idea. It's really the same idea. So that one's on there. I keep hearing about the World of Coca-Cola in Atlanta. I'd like to go to the World of Coca-Cola.
It's amazing.
And there's a Titanic replica / museum in Branson, Missouri.
I've been there.
That I'm interested in.
I've been there a
My
long time
mom
ago.
has been there. I have not been there.
Okay.
Okay. Historic, real quick. Ground Zero, National Mall, Alamo, USS Alabama, Fort Sumter. All awesome places, encompasses so much USS.
A lot of ships.
Yeah. Some ships. Definitely some ships. I'll go next one real quick. Art museums. Cleveland Art Museum, free. Amazing. Ton of Picassos. The National Veterans Art Museum in Chicago. Really cool art made by veterans. And then the Sheldon Art Gallery in Lincoln on the campus.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
Moral
I
Hall
like
didn't
art
make
museums.
it.
I could spend hours wandering around looking.
See, this is where we get to my final tier. Stuff I don't care about. And this has 3 categories. Aquariums.
Okay.
I don't care about fish.
All right.
All right. Butterflies.
I don't know that I think about these as museums, but I get it.
I
Like conservatories. Like those are kind of museum. Like, right?
I guess.
Butterfly. I don't care about butterflies. The thing at the zoo with the
Not
butterflies.
not for me.
Not for me. I don't care about the butterflies.
Handshake me.
And then most art.
Okay.
I don't care about most art.
Oh man, art museums are great. Last one for me is just called brand buildings. The Coca-Cola one.
Yep.
Warner Brothers, the studio. There's a ton of historical stuff with it, but it's, I don't know, not a traditional museum. And then I threw this on there to represent sort of some of these in general. Leinenkugel's with their big brewery operation.
Oh yeah.
They have an awesome, history area of how they were sort of came to be and all of that.
I've always been like in the general vicinity of that
Yeah,
place,
Not
and then
super far from Dubuque.
I know, and I've never made my way over.
I think you would really enjoy.
It's like a couple hours outside of I think we were on a trip to
Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So it's on the western part of Wisconsin. Like I said, not far from Dubuque. It is probably a couple hours away.
Sweet. I have not been.
Yeah.
Breweries are great.
We love
Probably not
breweries.
museums though, but like if it has a museum, like
it's like a museum inside its brewery.
I mean, let's be honest. We were a little bit loose with our definitions of
a couple war museums. I want to recommend you guys if you have the chance. If you're in Hawaii, go to Pearl Harbor.
Would love to.
Very, very interesting. And
Should
then
have been on the list.
in San Diego, the USS Midway Museum.
Would love to. Yeah.
Those are great places.
I would recommend you to do one of those boats if you ever get a chance. Like
I would check out a boat,
massive carrier like the USS Alabama, or like he said with Midway. Really cool.
I would check out a boat like that.
Also incredible how tiny you have to be to serve on those.
I know. Yes.
Yeah. It's nuts.
It also underscores how like tiny people used to be.
Well, they didn't always look like me.
We got bigger people now. We just do. All right. We'll be back with Joey's headlines after this on 1620 The Zone. Here's a headline for you. Last night, Pete Crow Armstrong hit a walk-off home run in the 10th inning for the Chicago Cubs against the White Sox. Fun game to watch. Went into extra innings, a couple big outs, strikeouts by pitchers, but ultimately one of the best players in baseball right now ended things. He also started things last night. He became the 6th player with a leadoff home run and a walk-off home run in the same game. He joins. I love a list like this. 2010, Chris Young. 2009, Ian Kinsler. 2003, Reed Johnson. 2000, Darren Erstad. 1957, Vic Power. And 1893, not recent, but 1893, Billy Hamilton. Not that Billy Hamilton. He's not 130 years old.
Wow.
So he joins a very, very, very
So
small
the
list.
most deep cut name is Reed Johnson.
Reed Johnson is great.
Though Chris Young, outfielder, is kind of a deep cut.
That was a moment in time for sure.
In itself. And then obviously the rest of those feel like I don't know about.
I don't really know about Vic Power. I do know about Ersty though.
Yeah, I mean obviously he's
shout out to Ersty.
Pretty good player.
Whenever you get him on the
that's nuts.
Yep,
it's a longer list than you would have guessed.
Pete Crow Armstrong. They're saying that he's MVP.
We might be talking about it in free ball.
Or is it PCA MVP or
Shohei Ohtani?
No, we're talking about Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yeah, MVP.
All right, Joey, what do we got for headlines?
Headline number 1: Woman dies, come back to life, gets parking ticket.
All right, I'm very
That's
interested.
a headline.
I'm very interested. Yeah. What's the second one?
Top album releases linked to rise in fatal crashes as distracted drivers access music.
Top album release.
So these albums are what people are listening to allegedly when
As
they are in
fatal
car accidents.
Sounds like I'm interested. Like I would click on
Seems
this.
a little ghastly.
I'd like to read it in private.
Yeah, a little ghoulish.
Yeah.
And then I want to make sure I'm not listening to these things when I'm driving home.
But speaking of death, we do have this.
This not at all.
Woman dies, comes back to life, gets parking ticket. A parking company has apologized to an Auckland, New Zealand woman after she received a parking ticket for staying too long at a supermarket car park on the day she died and was brought back to life. The 54-year-old collapsed in the car park of the New World Supermarket in Orewa in Auckland's Hibiscus Coast on July 26th. Her father told Stuff, this is where I'm getting the story, that staff were quick to provide assistance and privacy screens, but it was a stranger who immediately took control and performed chest compressions when she could not find a pulse. The stranger just melted away once my daughter had regained a pulse, and the ambulance arrived to the scene before anyone could thank her. That's what the father said, describing the woman's actions as truly remarkable. He told Stuff that paramedics told family that his daughter's heart had stopped, and momentarily she was technically dead. His daughter was taken then to North Shore Hospital by ambulance, and her car, which was allowed to remain in the car park for 90 minutes, was not moved for 5.5 hours, which I'm pretty surprised that it was moved at any point during that day, considering she was briefly dead. The woman received an $80 parking ticket from Smart Compliance Management a few days after her resurrection. After the circumstances were explained, the fine was not waived, but it was merely reduced to $30.
You can't park there, even if you're not, even if you're going to the hospital, you still have to have your car moved.
UNL parking would do some crap like this. They'd have no mercy whatsoever. Here's what they say, the parking ticket management company. Customers are entitled to 90 minutes of parking. Your vehicle was parked for 341 minutes.
Having considered your appeal in detail, we have decided to uphold the breach notice as we believe that it was correctly issued in accordance with the terms and conditions advertised within the areas concerned.
This is where you
gotta love lawyers.
This is where you got to get on the phone with somebody and you got to be like, hey, I know, like I was in breach. I I did do this. And
Have you considered that your parking garage was killing me?
yeah, that's what she should do. She should just completely turn it on him. It's like, I think you guys did this to me. But she got out with her life, which is the most important thing, and a $30 parking ticket instead of an $80 parking ticket, which is good, I suppose.
So staff at the New World Orwea, the grocery store, I believe, paid the $30 fine on her behalf.
Oh, well,
That
that's
was nice of them.
So
They'd have my business forever.
yeah, they immediately contacted the Smart Compliance when made aware of the situation and requested the notice be withdrawn, including a refund of the fee that was paid.
I would simply just pay the $30 ticket and then make a big stink about it and, run a campaign against the Smart Compliance people, whoever issues these tickets, and say, yeah, they did give me a ticket and I was in violation, but they merely just reduced my fine. I had a heart attack and nearly died, and they didn't just straight up waive it.
Hey, well, look, they have rules.
They do have
They
rules.
apparently aren't willing to bend them, even in the face of death.
They very much enforce them. That much is for sure. All right, those are the headlines from our dear friend Joey. I'm going to go click on this story that the other one during the break. Also, we'll come back and yes, we have football topics. Mike Schaefer has football questions after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, 8 o'clock, halfway home on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola with you. Don't forget, listen on Sportsmanlike Conduct this week. They'll have your bonus chances to earn even more entries to the Oregon trip, which is, it's 2 months away. One of the things that I like to say around this time of year, by the way, the Oregon trip, you could win round trip airfare, Omaha to Eugene, tickets to the game, 2-night hotel stay, $150 gift card to do whatever the heck you want with. And it's brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family and us here at 1620 The Zone. So on Sportsmanlike Conduct, we'll have your bonus entries all week, or you could just get registered at 1620thezone.com. One of the things I like to say around this time of year is we all count down to week one, right? We count down to the first game. It's all geared toward the first game, which we are 18 days away from right now.
That sounds right.
18 days until September 5th.
It's inside of 3 weeks. I know that.
Yeah. Saturday will be 2 weeks away. And that's all good. And then the first week gets here, but then there are important games after week one and in Nebraska's case, after week 3, there are important games. We're only that far away from those weeks as well.
I know.
We're only 2 months away from the Indiana game.
Right.
I think we should be counting down to those games.
Well, I think the countdown is just a return of
Green.
football in general.
Yeah.
Because while Nebraska may be playing a series of uninspired opponents to start the year to help collect a quick 3-0 start and set themselves up for conference play.
Yep.
There are other games going on that will be exciting, that will help tie us over to then win the Nebraska games. Get a little bit more.
Fewer and further between, though, Schaefer. Fewer
that
and
is
further
true.
between.
That's why more conference games need to be played early in the season.
Maybe that's the fix to all of this.
There's more now than ever. Certainly growing up, it would be weird to see a conference game before, I don't know, the third week of September.
Yeah.
So there is that.
Before you ask one of your questions or two of your questions, we should probably talk just briefly about Tikey Hayes. We will not be asking what your favorite Tikey Hayes moments were. You have many outlets to answer those questions. Many people are asking for your list of your favorite Tikey Hayes moments or moments of the Tikey Hayes era. But he was, as far as we know, kicked off the team yesterday, and Nebraska is down a running back that never really felt like they had in the first place.
Well, I suppose they had him in the sense that he was practicing for a 2-week period.
Yeah. Never played a game. Unclear if he would have played a game. I would imagine he still spent a lot of his 2 weeks just kind of getting caught up on things.
Right. Before getting caught up in things.
Yeah. Right.
He
was getting reps and whatever, but he wasn't going to be a guy that they depended on this year anyway.
It didn't seem like it.
We all liked the ad over the summer because it was just this it's the equivalent of a late round flyer.
Sure.
The guy was at least some potential.
That's exactly how we described it.
He was a pretty highly recruited guy and ended up at Penn State and then just kind of left and never came back to Penn State and showed up at Iowa Western.
Right.
And then, and then he was like, I'm going to Nebraska. And then he's gone after 2 weeks. I don't know what his football future looks like, but it will not be at Nebraska.
Yeah, I don't know what his football future looks like either. And I just going back to kind of what we talked about when he first joined, we like the idea that it was an additional running back in the room. It was someone that potentially could help you, though it was unclear how soon that timeline would be, that he would be available to help you, or even really in what way, how he fit relative to some of the other running backs remained to be seen. But just like it wasn't some sort of season-changing addition, it's not a season-changing departure. It just again points out that Nebraska's running back room, you're at some point, I would like to see them add, a run of high school running backs that you feel good about. I think Jamal Rule is the start of that. I think Amir Brown is an addition to that. I just like to see that continue.
I was thinking about this the other day because I saw some. It must have been from Tim. I saw some recruiting notes that Nebraska's kind of in on this really highly touted running back for the 28 class.
Yeah, did his dad play at Nebraska? He's got a connection to Nebraska through his dad.
So they do that every year. Like they go after one of the top 2 or 3 running backs in the class.
They
like,
try
every year and seem to get some traction. I mean, they had Quan Lacey committed.
Yeah.
You know, like
he wasn't even like that was an evaluation win for Nebraska.
Right.
Prior to everyone else realizing.
Of course, I guess that's hindsight because he ended up being one of the top running backs in the country.
Sure.
I suppose. But like that would have been a good, like we would have all said, oh, great get.
Yeah. And at the time, I think people realized he was underrated and thought it was a great get.
And they went after the kid who ended up at Georgia.
Nathan Frazier.
Yep. And like so they have gone after
yeah.
these guys. They clearly value the position in that regard, but they have refrained from spending any real money as far as acquisition of running backs in the transfer portal.
Yeah, I think they are willing if it's the right high school guy. I think some of it is they haven't been that appealing of a place for a running back to go until this past year when you saw what Emmett Johnson did. Because otherwise, I mean, you're talking about a bunch of seasons where it's spread out across 2-3 guys, 400, 500, 600 yards is your leader, that sort of thing. So having a year like Emmett Johnson, this is why people like me were somewhat confused as to the strategy of you going to the portal. You just had a guy play himself into being an All-American in your offense, and there's more out there for your offense to get, and there'd be more out there for the running back to get too. Now is the time to basically be like, hey, we need
cash
somebody.
in. Yeah.
And they obviously, liked what they have on their rosters. They've told us many, 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 many times, and did not want to spend money on the position.
So much so that they are now annoyed at people wondering about it.
That is ridiculous. Like, whatever. You created this own mess. You can't pretend like you didn't. And then now you're annoyed when you get asked about it. Like, okay, look at a mirror and figure out how we got here. It's you. It's your own decision making. But congratulations on being annoyed by it. So now it just becomes, for me, like I said, I'd like to see that position gain some traction with as many high-end guys as you can kind of bring in the running back room. Because if you're really going to be invested in running the football, if you're really going to kind of play through your offensive line in that regard, if the quarterback run game is going to be featured in this, then your running back's value seems like it's only gone up in your offense. So you need to make sure that it's a guy that can really help you if he's going to be this heavily utilized.
Or like tell us, say, yeah, we got 4 guys and we're going to use them all, and we want to spread out their yards evenly amongst all of them.
Which is, I think, what they want more than what happened last year, where it's primarily Emmett.
Yeah.
But which is fine. You just have to have a right collection of guys and then always press the right button for who you're getting on the field in the right situation.
Yeah. And you have to trust 3 instead of 1,
which I think is harder in a lot of ways.
It most certainly is. We know the trust threshold is very, very high.
Right.
They are asking them to do a lot.
So I am, again, in the same spot that I have been with running back, and it seemingly have been since, Bo Pelini left and Reggie Davis took over. And it felt like that position in particular has just been like kind of falling off of a cliff until Emmett Johnson arrived with a spectacular, I wouldn't say out of nowhere, because I thought he was going to be good. I did not think he was going to be.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like it feels like they have, this is going back before this staff got here. Any running back real production that they've gotten, it's been sort of like they landed on that running back after a couple of different options.
It hasn't been when they went out, and I can't think of the guy who came from Oklahoma that everybody was excited about. You know who I'm talking about? It's Sevion Morrison.
Yeah.
Like that was a big recruiting win for Nebraska,
right. Yeah.
And then that didn't amount to much. Gabe Ervin wasn't a big recruiting win, but we spent 3 off seasons talking about Gabe Ervin as the starting running back at Nebraska, and it never materialized because of injury and whatever else. The transfer portal route hasn't been that lucrative for him Dante Dowdell, I think, was good. But then Marquise Stepp didn't provide kind of what you were hoping for there. So, the other than Emmett Johnson, the guy that's really stood out has been Divino Zigbo, who was not like their biggest get.
Wasn't their first option,
Right,
to be the 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah, I mean, they sort of just begrudgingly ended up giving him the ball, and then was like,
well, I mean, literally that season, the running back was the other guy.
Was Greg
Bell.
Greg Bell.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody else in there. Then we got to.
Was it Wilbon? Was there?
Well, it was Greg Bell and Malik Washington. Malik Washington was the
Maurice Washington.
Maurice Washington. Who's Malik Washington?
Malik Washington is a different person. Yes.
Good Lord.
That's right. And then there was Marcus Washington, who did play for Nebraska.
Now that is confusing.
Wide receiver.
Forgot about Marcus Washington, who got hurt right away in 2023, which then left Nebraska with no wide receivers for much of the year.
So, bottom line, running back room is probably in not much of a different place than it was yesterday, as far as what you're actually going to see on the field this fall. But it is in the same place in the sense of, well, they've doubled and tripled down on this thing here and how they're doing it, and so they better hope they find one, right? Like they're going to need now the running backs in particular are going to be helped out by the quarterback and the quarterback run game this year, and I think the offensive line should be good, and so. If you could develop a guy that's going to get you some extra, I think at Nebraska you could have a running back that gets you more than what the play says, and they think they have those guys. So we will see if they do coming up in just a couple weeks, 18 days.
This isn't one of the questions I have written down, but if you're handicapping this running back room, is it Mosey? Is it Nelson? Is it Rule? Who do you sort of see from just the running backs leading this team in rushing? If you had to guess right now, August, what are we, 19th? 18th? 18th.
Over the whole season?
The whole season. 12. Give me the first 12 games.
Over the whole season.
Regular season.
I will go Mosey.
Okay.
But first crack this year, first crack in 2 weeks, probably Nelson. Or would you flip those?
I think it could be Mosey for both of first crack and I also think there's a world where Jamal Rule continues on what it looked like in the spring game where he was pretty effective in that regard.
I think he has a role.
It is kind of fascinating because I remember last fall camp, talking with people that were at practices, Mekhi Nelson had a really, really good fall camp.
Mm-hmm.
And, not that he was ever a threat to take a bunch of playing time from Emmett Johnson, but there felt like there was a role there that he could occupy. And then they never really utilized him that much until the bowl game. And then he looked pretty good early. So I will say, while there's not this wow factor on any of these guys, there's something interesting with all of them. I mean, if you give me the version of Isaiah Mosey that runs like he does after he catches the football,
I can't wait to see.
That guy would be a fantastic running back.
I can't wait to see what each of these guys are going to look like in a year or two. The problem is now.
Right. You need it now.
Yeah, it's more of an immediate thing. I think they'll all be, good players.
Yeah.
In their own right. Sam writes in on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Wait, I just realized, why aren't we on hour of 16 of emergency special coverage of Fred King's return? Oh, don't worry. We've covered it. We just thought we'd step away for a moment.
The Fred Kingdom.
Yeah.
Fred King, who gives a big smile back to the bench.
That's where we found that one.
Big
earlier.
smile.
Big smile. I kind of channeled a little John Bishop there.
So, John Kenzie Noel was Big Christmas. Maybe we can just call Fred King Big Smile.
Big smile, like Francisco Lindor. Mr. Smile.
Mr. Smile.
I like that.
Fred King, who gives a big smile back to the bench.
I don't think Francisco Lindor has been Mr. Smile for a while.
He is very serious.
Yeah,
they should call him Mr. Serious.
I kind of think baseball stopped being fun for him once he left Cleveland to go to New York.
I watched him hit a walk-off the other day.
He's still very good.
Yeah, he is. But I was always this is a side before you ask your question. It's an important question. When he hit that big home run for Cleveland in the playoffs a couple of years ago,
The one off the foul pole.
The Grand Slam,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I was amazed at how emotionless he was when he ran around the baseball.
Oh, really?
It was incredible to me. It was one of the most incredible human achievements.
I don't even remember him being emotionless because I was so charged with
He just and I'm sure he was doing it for effect. Like, it's pretty badass what he like. That was so cool. But he just, without any, you wouldn't have been able to tell if it was June 14th and he hit like a solo home run in the third, or if it was the middle of October against the Yankees. It was incredible.
The most emotion I've ever seen from him, he hit a go-ahead home run in Puerto Rico, where he's from.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And Cleveland wins 2-1 against the Twins. Jose Barrios, also from Puerto Rico, started that game. Really awesome. But yeah, he I think carries himself in a different way.
Mr. Serious nowadays.
It's not the smile anymore, that's for sure.
All right, I'm excited to hear your questions. Before we talk to Mitch here, we have a couple minutes to answer one or two of them.
Yeah, so okay, these are kind of grouped together. But which individual Husker player are you most confident will be great? And I mean like
great.
Not this guy's going to do his job. We're not going to have to talk about him that much because he's competent, or this guy is good and there's really no equal on the team, and so he's just going to be the guy no matter what. I mean, someone that you think is going to be great. Tony the Tiger.
Like this year in 2026.
These are all 2026 questions.
So Hokie Skier says Tony C, easy. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt says Justin Evans.
Yeah, I mean, I think Justin Evans is a stock answer.
What about Chambliss?
I think you can go I mean, you don't have to crowdsource it off of me or anything. You can go with whatever answer you want.
I'm thinking out loud.
All right.
I
think Nebraska needs Chambliss to be great. Like, I think they need someone in the conversation we were having.
They do.
We're all off season. You got to have guys that step up and make plays defensively, be erasers, be havoc inducers. Like, you need greatness from somewhere on defense.
Greatness. Where is the greatness coming from? Who was great last year?
Don't know.
Besides Emmett Johnson.
I mean, Emmett, basically. Emmett was
the only great guy.
And then everything else was just either good or competent.
Yeah. Was Javen Wright great last year?
No. Kenneth Williams was great.
Kenneth Williams.
You could go Kenneth Williams.
Maybe Archie Wilson is great.
They could use Archie Wilson to be better.
People are down on Archie Wilson. I'm buying some Archie Wilson.
I'm definitely not down on Archie Wilson. I think
I'm buying some stock that people have sort of left at the side of the road.
I also think we're underestimating how often he was punting from like the 45-yard line. It's not exactly like he was just out there bombing from the 20.
Yeah.
So,
and people had the expectation that he had like the greatest leg of all time when he was going to come.
He did get built up quite a bit.
Yeah. Hokie Skier says Riley Van Poppel. Bayamon says Pritchett. Pritchett might be my answer.
A lot of Pritchett love this year.
I'm Team Pritchett.
Okay.
I'm in on Pritchett.
Is that where you're going to go?
Yeah, because I'm hemming and
hawing. I feel like
you
want to go Chambliss.
Chambliss was the first guy that came to my head.
Yeah.
Yes. Pritchett, Evans, Tony. I thought about Tony. I can make the case that Tony's going to be good. Really, really good. Great, even.
Great.
But I think we're looking for, you're looking for safety here. Yeah, give me Elijah Pritchett, Nebraska's starting left tackle.
And what's the argument for? Just the way he finished last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The overall potential that clearly exists.
The talent is, sort of undeniable, and he stuck through. Like, I like when guys go through some stuff.
Battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he stuck around.
Yep.
And came back a better version. And like, I think that is a really, really good piece to build around for this.
Yeah. I think the argument for it is that he should be significantly more comfortable. He obviously seems more comfortable as a teammate and as a friend, as a human, with these other guys, just based on the way that people have talked about him. Mitch Sherman, I had the great story on him as well, and everything that he sort of went through.
He'll join the show next.
And so I think it's a really understandable, reasonable one for sure.
What about you?
Like I said, Justin Evans is a stock one, so that's the one that I would be maybe the most confident in. Like I genuinely think he's going to be the first team center,
Big Ten center.
Yeah. Like he's really, really good.
Well, I mean, he's got one of the things on the offensive line is you got to have a little bit of a reputation.
Right.
He's got the reputation.
And so I also think when you combine with the fact that the two guys next to him are going to have a ton of experience and that Nebraska might run things a little bit differently and do things a little bit differently, like there's a chance he just has not necessarily like a breakout season, but it's known that Nebraska's interior of their offensive line can help kind of move things around.
Yeah.
And he's a big part of that.
Jerry DiNardo said that. I just wanted to see what your reaction.
Was this before or after?
He said they're going to be good guard to guard.
Okay.
He
Wow,
said
yeah.
they're gonna be good guard.
I
to guard.
agree with Jerry.
Be good guard.
Jerry and I agree.
All right. Do we have one more before we get to
We got
Mitch?
one more. So the reverse of it. Which expected Husker starter are you least sold on for 2026?
Oh boy. Wow, there's a lot of potential answers.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Yeah.
You could pick a running back.
Yep, I could.
You could pick a wide receiver. You could pick a defensive lineman.
Yes.
You could pick the right tackle position.
Yes.
Some people might pick tight end. It wouldn't be me. Some people might pick linebacker because you don't know how some of those guys are going to adjust.
Is Carter Nelson a starter?
He is not.
Okay.
I wouldn't view him as one anyways. I know that you're selling any stock that you may have had left in the portfolio there.
Yeah, I know. And people are buying it up.
Yeah, I know. There's definitely been some Carter Nelson talk this fall. He's not. I don't think he's expected to start. I don't even know that he's the second tight end.
Probably somebody in that safety spot. So like Hokie Sker says Guthrie. I don't know if he's a protected starter.
And that's the thing. So I think Khan is
McDougal.
Yep, McDougal is likely to play. Benning got hurt, so I think that cuts into his ability to play early. But he's going to play this year, assuming that the injury isn't long-standing.
Here's a tough one. Ja'Cory Barney.
So that's why I said a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Because I definitely hear from some people who just feel like Ja'Cory Barney gets talked about more than he produces.
I think that is exactly what I would say. Yes.
Okay. Is that your answer?
Sadly it might be.
Okay.
Sadly it might be. Or you could just do like Mekhi Nelson or whoever the starter at running back is.
I think running back would be
fade out that position.
A fair one. For me, I think it's Tree Babalade.
Yeah, good one.
It has kind of been like similar to, actually it's worse than when I would talk to people about Elijah Pritchett a year ago or Alabama people. And they're like, yeah, there's potential there, but we're not entirely sure he's really even, going to be able to scratch the surface of a C-level outcome. Tree Babalade, I don't think there was a lot of sad eyes in South Carolina because he struggled.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that it can't work somewhere else with some different coaching. Though Lonnie Teasley would be with him, and everything else. So I think Tree Babalade is my answer at this point in time. And then I'm a little bit like I kind of want to see it with Owen Chambliss, similar to Desan McCullough. Like I think there's an expectation that he's just going to come in and be ready to lead the defense and everything else. I don't know. I want to see it. It's a jump from the Mountain West to the Big Ten.
Some of these questions we could ask Mitch Sherman, and we'd like to get your thoughts on 402-951-1620. Go ahead and send us a text if you'd like to on that. We'll come back with Mitch after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. 8:31 here on a Tuesday morning. Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer. We're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline by our good friend Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Hi, Mitch. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. I'm just watching the rain.
Do you have a rain gauge?
I don't know if I should answer that. I do. I
This
do.
is not.
like
I swear, it's not a trap.
What's going on?
It's not a trap. I just want to know if you have a rain gauge, and I want to because we're interested in getting rain gauges.
Yeah. Why was Mitch worried about telling us if he had a
I'm older
rain
than you
gauge
guys.
or not?
There comes an age. So yeah, I've got one of those contraptions that is like staked into the ground in the corner of my yard, and not only is it a rain gauge, but it will tell you the humidity and the temperature and the wind speed and all of that. And
You
I
got
can
some-
access it.
You got some like wet bulb on there, whatever that's called.
Yeah. Like, what is this
The dew point,
contraption?
yeah. I mean, I think it varies. Like certain times of year, certain times of day, it will give you the dew point, and it'll rotate back to like wind chill. I'm just digging myself a big hole here right now.
No, this
You
is
got like
good.
an outdoor
Yeah.
weather station, basically.
I do, and I can access it from the internet. I could share the link with you guys, and then you could know what's all of the weather conditions around the Gretna area if you wanted.
I would love to see it. It's like a TrackMan link.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah, it's
Did Mitch think we were going to make fun of him for
yeah,
this?
yeah. You have to understand. We are we seem probably we're old. You know, we're like
I'm 38. I am in the neighborhood
we're
of wanting to know.
mid-30s going on, a lot older
what's
than
happening
that.
here.
Yeah, we definitely are interested in weather.
I fully embrace it. We've had 3/200ths of an inch since midnight. So here at my house.
Love it.
3/200ths of an inch. is
I love
pretty
it.
good. Yeah, I got to see that link. You gotta send it our way.
I'll get it to you.
All right.
I'll definitely get it to you.
All right. So does any picture change in your mind after the Tikey Hayes news? Does anything change at all about the running back room, how you view it, or certainly what it means for this season? Like, does anything change at all?
Based on the comments Friday from Dana Holgerson, it means that they'll have one less confused running back in the room. And I think that's simplifying it. That's dismissing this as totally insignificant. It could be significant if Nebraska gets to a place after a few games where maybe one running back is not performing like you expect. Somebody's got an issue with ball security. Another guy has a hamstring. Maybe somebody has a longer term injury. Like if they start going down like flies, then you're going to be saying, man, sure wish Nebraska had Tikey Hayes right now. But that is not the position that they're in right at the moment. And even if they get there after however many games, it's hard to say how much he was going to be able to help them. It sounds as if, based on the comments from Friday, and just like common sense, because he showed up literally a couple of weeks ago, that he probably wasn't going to be in a position to help Nebraska a lot this year, just as he adapted. And maybe in the future, but for 2026, I don't think that the loss of Tikey Hayes is going to be much of any consequence.
What do you think the chances are for Gunnar Gatula to end up being the starting right tackle? It's kind of been thought. I think conventional wisdom has been Tree Babalade potentially with that, but Gunnar Gatula now healthy after being out for the spring, now freshly graduated, a graduate of the University of Nebraska, and a guy that I think could be a really interesting player for Nebraska this year.
He's definitely had a strong camp. And I think, like last year it was the Elijah Pritchett. He was the player who'd been anointed. Like, yeah, you got a transfer from Alabama. You're just going to put him out there at left tackle and forget about it. And Elijah eventually became that player. I think he is that player now, but it took him some time. And Gatula was ready to go. And he ultimately ends up getting hurt. But I think he's come back strong. And from the sounds of it, if I'm projecting right now, I think he's going to be in the starting lineup. Although he's versatile enough that you could make him your sixth,
your swing guy, basically
lineman, right? And he could play. I think he can play 3 or 4 positions on the line. And I could, there's a scenario where you could even see him as the starting left guard. And so I think he's played as well as Babalade and Paul Mubenga in some situations, or maybe a lot of situations here in camp. And it's going to be interesting today to hear from Jeep Wade about that and about Gunnar Gatula. And I don't know, we don't really know Jeep's style yet with sharing information about how he sees the lineup looking. They're Donovan Raiola, the offensive line coach for the last 4 years. While I think he warmed up to like just the idea of being a public figure toward the end of his time, he still was never somebody that gave you anything as far as what the expectations were about starting positions. Like he had no idea when you came out of an interview with him. He kept it very close to the vest, and I understand why. But some coaches don't mind telling you what they think the lineup's going to look like, and kind of hope Jeep is in that category and he tells us what we can expect from Gatula, because he's been definitely an intriguing piece here in camp.
Mitch, I know you've been part of this with other offensive line coaches. Do we know, has anyone asked Jeep Wade his opinion on rotating offensive linemen?
It's probably been asked that. I wasn't there for the interview that he did in Las Vegas before the bowl game, and I don't know that he would have been asked that at that time. It was like just on the ground in Lincoln from Georgia Tech and trying to just figure out what the names of his players were that he had to coach in the Las Vegas Bowl. He talked a couple of times publicly in the spring, and I don't recall. When you say rotating, do you mean like
you remember how this was like a big conversation when Mike Kavanaugh showed up and he said that he wanted to have 5 offensive linemen, and previously Nebraska had rotated in like guards at times, and fans would get really upset about this. I just recall it like every offensive line coach at some point has been forced to give their answer on whether they would rotate guys.
I feel like we go into most years, and maybe this year isn't one of those years because it looks like there's a clear top 6. But we've gone into a lot of years where I think fans and media have talked themselves into thinking that there were like 8 or 9 offensive linemen who were ready to play, and like this should make Nebraska great, and they should be improved up front on the offensive line because there's almost 2 groups and they have more depth. And this year it just seems like there's a clear cut. There's more of a clear cut between the top group, and it might be because the top group is better than it has been. Like they have a more of a solid 5, 6. You would like to have a little more than that. I think you'd like to have a 7th that you could rely on, and they might. And I do think that that's a good question for Jeep today. Is all right. You put Gunnar Gatula in with 3 transfers, with Justin Evans and Elijah Pritchett. Like who's next, and who can you rely on next? I kind of think that when it comes down to it, looking at an interior guy, that they're going to end up with Preston Taumua as somebody who emerges and is able to play this year. But I don't, I want to hear it from Jeep or see what the observations have been as he's worked with Lonnie Teasley through this thing in the off season.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Tim yesterday. It's sort of a weird one, but I think you'll know why. Who will be Nebraska's 4th leading receiver this year?
Well, they're all getting 1,000 yards, right?
That's right.
Whoa!
Calandra is going to throw for 1,000,000 yards this year.
I will say 4th is Ja'Cory Barney. You could say he's number 1.
Back-to-back answer.
Yeah, that's what Tim said yesterday too, and I think it's fascinating because that means you have somebody in the top 3 who conventionally wouldn't be thought of as a top 3 guy.
Well, I just think that Quinn Clark, Isaiah Hunter, and Quasi Gilmer are more traditionally going to stretch the field, and that Calandria, these are all great plans in August, but that Calandria is going to be able to air it out more than what we've seen in recent years. And Ja'Cory as a slot receiver, and we've seen how they've liked to use him in the past, and it hasn't always been. I don't think it's been the best for him. He's got to be able to. He does look considerably stronger this year, but he needed to be because he's had a hard time in in his couple of years running through contact. I think some of that was that he was hurt last year after the opener. He got hit low in that Cincinnati game. It happens, but that's kind of how they tackled in that game. And I don't know that he was ever fully right, and it impacted his ability to break tackles, but they continued to throw to him in those situations where he caught it at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, and he wasn't in a good spot to be able to make a couple of players miss and get first downs. So if he's in that mode, he obviously has the quickness and the athleticism. He's going to get yards, but I don't know that I see him like being somebody that they have running down the field to catch passes as often as they put the other three in those spots. So I'll just say I almost picked a tight end, but I'll go with Jukori.
Yeah, I like it.
So I guess just kind of working off of that, and this kind of fits a little bit with what Happer answered when I asked the same question. Who is the expected Huskers starter that you're least sold on right now, Mitch? Like if you put together your depth chart
of the ball,
on either side of the ball, special teams, any of it.
the kicker.
If you wanted to say that, you sure could.
Yeah, make the case.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Cunanan was pretty consistent last year. I won't do that to him. But I'm least sold on. How about we say that on the defensive interior, that Jasir Whittington has got a spot locked down. And I don't know, because I think Riley Van Poppel probably has the other spot locked down. I think it's going to be those two. Yeah. And I'm not least sold on either one of them. I will say the safety who plays on the other safety spot from Dwayne McDougal. I think McDougal, because of his experience in the defense, is going to be ready to go week one. He knows how this works. Maybe the other one is Jameer Khan. So I'll go the other safety.
It's kind of where my brain went.
Yeah,
as well. All right, Mitch, we'll keep asking you random questions like this over the next couple weeks before we get ready for the season. And send us the link to the weather station. We're very interested.
We want in.
You want me to make it public? You want me to just put it out there on Twitter for you?
If you want to. Otherwise, you can just text us individually.
Yeah, whatever you like.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
We'll make a group text.
All right. About that. See you, Mitch. Thanks.
Okay. All right. See you.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic, also a weatherman.
I like it.
Amateur weatherman at his own house in Greta.
I want to know more about this weather station.
Yeah, I want to buy it too.
I might want one.
Yeah.
It's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah. I need to get some wet bowl breedings.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. All right, we got a couple things to get to, local stories before we finish out the hour. We'll have free balling. We have Jacob Padilla to talk about nonstop Frederick King conversation for at 9:15. So plenty to come. Still on a Tuesday on Happer, Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. Not a Friday, but still a shout out. Shout out to the Carpetland Rugs. That would be the Lincoln East Legion baseball team. They have found themselves in the American Legion World Series championship game, making it all the way through the state and regional play, and now into the American Legion World Series championship game, where this very team was just 3 years ago. They lost 1-0 to a team from Texas, and a Nebraska team has not won the American Legion World Series since 1939, and the boys from Lincoln East are looking to get that job done. I guess it would be today.
Who last won it for Nebraska?
You'd have to. I'm looking at a story from Nebraska, looking to become Nebraska's second American Legion World Series title winner, first since 1939. This is from the American Legion itself, but I'd have to check on that real quick.
Okay. Well, I mean, still an incredible run so far for Lincoln East with reaching the championship game, and they've been just kind of on a baseball heater for about a half decade.
A long time now. Yes.
And so it's hard to sustain, and yet they just keep, I don't know.
Beat White House, New Jersey to advance to
Take that.
They are the winner of the Stripes.
Send them
division.
back to the boardwalk.
How about let's name some guys here. Let's see. We got Braden Erickson, the 2-out RBI double in the first. We got Dele Odulate, grand slam to make it 6-0. Lincoln would tack on 2 more in the fourth on sacrifice flies by Kalai Larson and Braden Erickson. There you go. So there you go into the championship game. Also, great Legion sponsor.
Yeah, Carpetland.
The Rugs.
Pretty good.
That is fire.
Pretty good.
That is truly great. So congratulations to them, and bring one home. Why not? I got to find out who they're playing.
Yeah, who is the other team in this championship?
That would probably be good.
And can Nebraska bring the title back for the first time since 1939? We don't know who was on the 39 team, where they played. I just randomly decided to do a search of when Richie Ashburn's career would have started in Major League Baseball. I don't know that Elgin would have been winning the Legion, or I guess he'd been Tilden, but the same area of Nebraska, if they would have been winning the Legion championship. But I was trying to think of baseball players from the state in 1939, as close as I could get. What's the furthest any of your Legion teams ever went?
State semifinals.
Yeah, my junior, so Columbus, it was the senior blues and then the juniors. And so the juniors year, we got third in
nice.
It would be 2004.
We were a state. You know, it's funny. I almost wore the shirt today that says because we ended up winning the area tournament. There was set to be a final. We were the two undefeated teams, and it got rained out.
Oh,
and so both there's 2 state tournaments, and so they take 2 from every area, and so they were just like, yeah, you guys win because you were the undefeated team or whatever it was. So we won, and we went to Lincoln for our state tournament at Sherman Field. We went all the way to the semifinals. 2000 and
who'd you run up against?
I think we lost to West Side. We beat Prep. We got absolutely crushed by Lincoln Southwest, and it beat somebody else before we lost to West Side in the summer of 2009.
Yeah.
Would have been. Yep.
Did you get third place though?
I don't know. I left for family vacation right afterwards. I was like, it's over.
Yeah, it's the time of year.
Carpetland will play for its first national championship on Tuesday against a team from Portland. The game will begin at 5 o'clock and be televised on ESPN.
Oregon, not Maine, I assume.
Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Portland, Oregon. Also, Creighton women's basketball released their non-conference schedule yesterday with an interesting note. The Creighton and Nebraska women are going to play at the CHI Health Center.
That'll be fun.
It is a home game for Creighton this year, and so they're going to move it to the big arena. There's been talks of this for, I think, the last couple times they've played in Omaha. I always like it when they played at the small barn at Sokol because it gets loud and hot and all these different things. But you'll have a chance to, I don't know, we'll see how many people get in there. But they've done a pretty good job of, when getting people in the building when they play UConn.
Yeah, I feel like Creighton women have kind of had Nebraska's number. Nebraska, I think, won last year, but in my head, that
Nebraska dominated last year. I think Nebraska's won a couple in a row, but they had gone back and forth for a while.
It's a competitive series, no question on that.
Let's see. You ask questions, and I try and find the answer.
I swear they had a run of a couple years in a row that when Nebraska had good teams too.
So last year, Nebraska won by 34.
Less competitive.
Creighton won the previous 3 years before that.
Okay, that's what it was.
Nebraska won in 22, and then Creighton won the previous 5 years before that.
Yeah, I feel like Creighton has really done well in that.
That's Nebraska's won just 2 out of the last
10, right?
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what I was remembering, like you'd have teams with Jazz Shelley and Alexis Markowski, and they'd end up dropping.
Well, yeah, specifically the last time they played in Omaha at Sokol 2 years ago. Nebraska was like ranked and they were supposed to be pretty good. And that was the year that, Creighton was obviously pretty good too, but nobody.
Well, Creighton's they've been a tournament team in that run.
Rebuilt last year, but they got a lot of it back, and so they should be pretty good. So that'll be fun for everybody this season when Nebraska and Creighton women play at the CHI Health Center. That game is scheduled for Saturday, November 21st. We'll take a break. We'll free ball. We got plenty more to cover in the 9 o'clock hour of Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone.
Free balling now, I'm free balling now, I'm free balling now, I'm free balling now, I'm. It's time for Free Balling, where the producer reads questions on things happening in the world of sports. Connor and Mike will have the answers.
You'd be happy to know that during the last segment, I got a text from friend of the show, Jake Sorensen, that was cursing at Dave Wanstead. He hates Dave Wanstead. Miami Dolphins fan, just super out on Dave Wanstead. So I first learned about this, his hatred of Dave Wanstead, when I was at Big Ten Media Days, and he was back in Lincoln listening. And it was right at the start of my show. So it was 11 o'clock on whatever day of Big Ten Media Days it was. And Dave Wanstead just had to be walking by. And I grabbed Dave Wanstead. I was like, sit down. He was doing BTN stuff. I was like, let's do an interview. And he sits down and I start the show. I'm like, hey, welcome to the show. We got to start things off with Dave Wanstead today. And I immediately get a text from Jake Sorensen, who's like, get that guy off. I hate that guy. He's the worst Miami Dolphins coach of all time. I'm like, whoa. I'm just trying to do an interview. I don't really care about his Miami Dolphins time.
Yeah, nobody does.
Classic Jake. Classic Jake. All right, Joey, what do we got for free balling today?
Okie dokie. Veteran receiver Keenan Allen signed a 1-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts. Congratulations, Peter. Are you prepared to consider drafting him in the 12th round of fantasy?
Seems a little early.
Is it? He's a guy that, like,
let's see what his fantasy stock is like.
His numbers always seem to show up at the end of the year. He's someone that you could probably wait and take with one of your final picks in a draft. He's just he's a steady producer, and he's only a couple years removed from like a 1,300-yard season on top of it. And the Colts kind of just have guys that pop up and appear and do stuff for them offensively.
They do. That is true. I sort of trust that part of it. He played in all 17 games last year for the Chargers. He had 122 targets, which was the most in the team. And he ended up being a wide receiver 34 last year. Much better than, honestly, than I would have thought.
Yeah, no, that's why I did it, because he's a guy that if you're just in a 10-team league, that's a wide receiver 4. He's basically a bench wide receiver.
He was wide receiver 56 in points per game in half-point PPR from weeks 8 to 18 last year. Dear God. He was top 15 wide receiver through the first 7 weeks of the season.
He caught his touchdowns early.
Allen's fantasy production will most likely be front-loaded, especially if Alec Pierce continues to miss time rehabbing. Oh, maybe it is worth an early flyer.
There you go.
Keenan Allen.
The guy who just continues to hang around and just produce.
I like to take my flyers on guys who are young and might appear out of nowhere.
But this is how I won a fantasy league once, just taking all the old guys one year, and it's like nobody wanted Derrick Henry. Fine, I'll take Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Nobody wants Mike Evans because he's always hurt. He stayed healthy all year. It was also the year that Keenan Allen went for 1,300 yards at like 31. So
that's not bad.
It worked out.
Okay. All right, you may have convinced me a little bit.
Pete Crow Armstrong with another 2-homer night with 4 hits total and a steal for good measure.
Check this out. Shohei Ohtani.
Anyway, if he isn't pitching anymore this season, would you consider voting for the Cubs center fielder for MVP?
Absolutely.
Now, Shohei Ohtani hit 2 home runs last night as well, and so he's like one off of Crow Armstrong, and he doesn't have as many steals, but his batting average is fairly comparable.
30-30.
And it's basically a deal with Shohei where if he's not pitching, like, is the door open for Pete Crow Armstrong to actually win MVP?
I would say that it's pretty close to neck and neck at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, at this point.
And we know that Ohtani's not pitching anymore. So, absolutely.
Okay.
I think today, if you ask me today, I would vote for PCA.
MVPCA. Yeah, I wouldn't have any problem with it. He's been incredible. I thought last year, not like that it was a fluke, but I just didn't think that he would that sustainable of a hitter. And then he's just gone to another level this year after a really ugly start.
He's been incredible.
And then he's easily been the best player in baseball since the start of June.
Me and Nick on Friday, I brought up him and Bobby Witt Jr. together, and Nick, who's a Cubs honk, was like, pfft. And I was like, okay, now don't like, I get it. PCA's having a great season, but don't me, okay? Bobby Witt Jr. is still really good too.
Prior to this year, you would have taken Bobby Witt every time.
Yeah.
And even now, it's still a debate. Like, who would I rather have for the next 3 years? It's probably Bobby Witt.
Yeah, right. But, I got...
But he gave you
I got... Pfft.
Wow.
I got... Pfft.
I bet you didn't handle it well.
According to your DraftKings, Schaefer, Pete Crow Armstrong, currently the favorite for NL MVP, minus 115, better than
DraftKings.
One Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani.
It was minus 105.
Okay. 2 minuses.
Yeah. Those are your favorites.
How's that?
What else we got?
They should not award an AL MVP and give the other MVP to one of those guys.
There is going to be a lot of American League erasure this year. And guess what? The American League is probably going to win the World Series.
Good.
Take that. They'll say, oh, I can't wait to hear from the teams in like 2 weeks when they wake up and they realize their team's in a playoff hunt. And they're like, my team would be the 3 seed in the American League if they were only in the American League. I'm a Pittsburgh Pirates fan.
That's not how it works. They drag you to the mediocre middle.
That's not how it works. Thank you. Thank you, Mike Schaefer.
You're welcome.
Haters of the American League out there.
Arizona Diamondbacks second baseman Cato Marte.
Ketel Marte.
Cato Marte. I like it, though.
Thank you, Google, for being wrong. Anyway, was placed on the restricted list because he didn't show up at Fenway Park. This happened last year, too. Do we think Marte is done playing for the Diamondbacks?
Seems like he really doesn't want to play for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, this is weird. So, like yesterday afternoon, it just kind of comes out around like 3:00 that Ketel Marte
he just didn't show up.
Is put on the restricted list.
I saw the tweet and I was like, oh, should I be worried about him?
Did something happen?
Yes.
Last year, he also didn't show up, but his house had been broken into in the country that he resides in during the off season, and so he'd gone home to sort out matters there. And allegedly just didn't do a good job communicating with the Diamondbacks. Well, Torey Lovello, the coach of the Diamondbacks, basically quoted as saying yesterday, I tried to get some more information.
He said, and I quote, was doing my best just to reach out to him. Very little coming back.
Yeah, so
concerning.
I don't know what's going on there. It's really weird that he just doesn't show up to the ballpark. I mean, he was on the flight with the team. He flew to Boston. He got on the team bus and rode to the hotel.
He's around.
He was at the hotel, and then now he's just not.
Lovello said, it's been a crazy day. All I know is Marte's dealing with a personal issue. We're trying to figure that out. He didn't show up today and was placed on the restricted list. And as far as I know, that's all we know.
Yeah.
At this exact moment.
And there was talk of trading him in the offseason. There was talk of trading him at the deadline. They've been talking about trading him for a while. It does seem like both sides need to separate from each other.
I'd like Ketel Marte as a baseball player, though.
Ketel Marte would be a good
watch.
fit on like every team in baseball.
Yeah.
Switch hitting middle infielder. Yeah, you can do something.
Or as we're now calling him,
Cato Park.
Cato Marte.
Cato Marte.
I like it. All right, what
That's
else?
what Google said. Anyway, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell told a German media outlet that there's no doubt the NFL will have a team outside of North America. Boo! Where would you be most okay with a team if we have to have an international team?
Now, did you editorialize that, or did Schaefer write boo?
I didn't write boo.
I added that into it. I'm not a fan of it.
I am not for it, to be clear. I'm not here campaigning for, having to travel the high seas to go play a football game. But I am curious, if this has to happen, where would you actually want an international team at?
Somewhere you could get to by boat.
By boat?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Schaefer wants a team in
Reykjavik?
Iceland.
You put a team in Reykjavik, you can only get there by boat?
Absolutely.
The Faroe Islands, you just put them in the Faroe Islands.
How long's the flight from like Boston to Reykjavik?
Probably only 2.5, 3 hours.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
It's like going to Omaha.
I mean, Omaha is significantly larger than Reykjavik.
Yeah, but Iceland is a country. It's about Omaha. Right?
Iceland is a country.
What's Iceland got population wise as a whole country?
Well, the whole country is like 350,000 people.
Perfect. It's
And then
Omaha.
Reykjavik is like 80% of that.
Awesome.
So
it's
got a lot of
it's
accounts.
Iceland's team.
Iceland's team.
That's my vote. What do you think?
I would look if they put an NFL team there. I'd be excited.
Would
about
would they want to be called the Vikings then? Would they
That's
ask Minnesota
true,
to hand
Joey.
over the Vikings
That
name?
would be a real possibility.
Your team would have to get a rebrand.
Maybe
Minnesota-
Minnesota should campaign that there should be an NFL game in Reykjavik and they get to play.
Or Minnesota just pulls the Minneapolis Lakers and relocate to a different area.
I'd be
then
okay with
Minnesota
that. I'd
would
still
have to-
root for them if they were played in Iceland.
You would?
Yeah, probably. No, I've kind of always been of the mindset like because I've had a team move, I didn't follow them. I don't really
I
know
think if
for
your
sure
team
that I would.
if your team leaves you, you're free.
Oh yeah, you're definitely free. I like if Cleveland left, I wouldn't follow them where they went. I don't know what the Vikings though, because I don't know that I
That's
would
interesting. But
pick another NFL team.
but we are not connected to any cities
Right.
in particular. But still, it's like if they Kansas City, if the Royals left, I would not probably root for the Royals anymore.
Right. Yeah, I don't have any connection.
I don't know who I
to
would root.
Cleveland.
I don't know what I would do.
But it wouldn't be the same team. Like it would be just a different thing. Bruntz is going through this right now where he's like,
And his answer was to just quit baseball.
well, he says that, but he still very much pays attention to baseball. And then he also keeps buying Orioles stuff. So I think he's trying to.
He mentioned that a while
He's
ago.
trying to, I think, talk himself into Baltimore as the team for him going forward.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So you said Reykjavik.
That's my answer. Yes.
I don't know where I would go with it. I don't want it to be in England. I also don't know if there's like better options. I don't want a team in Paris. I know that much.
Wow. On France.
I don't support France.
France
I
is
don't
not
support France.
France is not for Schaefer.
I'm out on France.
Oh.
I would say let's put them in either Amsterdam to really amp up the tourist part of it, or just throw them in Germany somewhere. Berlin, Munich, any of them.
Could be
Fine.
anywhere. Sweet.
The Germans need a football
Just
team.
throw them in Hamburg.
Yeah, bring them in Hamburg.
The commission, if there's one thing that we know, though, the commissioners are very committed to putting teams not in America. This is happening
I
in a lot
really
of
do
sports.
wonder how far away we are from that, though. It feels like at least a little while.
It does, but I don't know. They keep talking about it like it gets more.
Like
and
Mexico
real.
City makes way more sense to me than putting a team somewhere else because you're at least still in the central time zone.
If this would create a situation where we could get some high speed travel overseas, like the Concorde comes back or
The
whatever.
Concorde comes back.
Yeah, like
Or they create somehow rails over the ocean.
under the ocean,
Oh man.
inside the
Would
ocean.
you take an underwater rail?
if it was a bullet
That's
train?
what Bears fans could do to get to Hammond. They could take an
Wow.
underwater rail to the factory.
If you take like what is it?
Great
from,
idea.
from New York to London.
I
like
do want to call the Hammond Stadium the factory for
a
now on.
6-hour flight, 5-hour flight, 6-hour
I
flight.
think on the Concorde, it was on the
No,
Concorde.
on a regular plane from New York to London right now.
it's probably 6.
As it'd be my guess too. I don't know that for sure.
I don't either.
But if you told me that if I took an underground train from New York to London that went through the ocean and it only took 3 hours, I'd sign up for that immediately.
Man, I don't know. I don't need to be immediate. I'd want to see some success for the train first.
Right. I'd not be on the maiden voyage, but yeah,
Right.
something like that. All right, there you go. Those are our free balling headlines for today. We'll take a break. And we'll talk to Jacob Padilla on the other side on 1620 The Zone.
Good luck with that, Dan. Stop Go, Pack, go. Go, Pack, go. Go, Pack, go.
Jacob Padilla, Herd at Sports, your source for Creighton hoops and Packers banter. Jacob Padilla on Happer and Schaefer, 1620, The Zone.
All right, we apologize for getting away from it for a few minutes there, but straight back to it. The Frederick King show continues on here on Happer and Schaefer. We're joined by Jacob Padilla from Herd at Sports. Jacob, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing all right.
Fred King, he's back. He's so back and better than ever for Creighton basketball. What kind of impact does this have on the Blue Jays?
Well, first off, I still don't know what to think of these 2026 fifth-year guys.
Yeah, actually, let's go back then. It's happening, but is he going to be eligible?
Yeah, who knows at this point? We saw finally the NCAA win a stay on an injunction in Ohio. That's one of the many cases now going on, which complicates this matter because you've got the one in Colorado that basically grants everybody the ability to play, but then you still got all these other individual cases at other places that are like doubling up for the players that are involved in those lawsuits. So who knows, like if the Colorado one gets walked back, will they be able to get to these other ones? Like I have no idea what to think of any of this stuff. So that's
should have paid attention to court classes more.
I honestly don't know how much that would actually help at this point, just because it seems like it's all over the place. And a lot of it comes down to the individual courts and the judges and everybody involved. So it's just a giant mess.
Yes.
So I don't know what to think of this. Like I understand why schools and school like Creighton are taking this route and kind of seeing what happens. So they had the roster space and kind of their plan A didn't work out. So you might as well and see where it goes. And if you can make your team better and it works out, then there you go. And if it doesn't, then you're in the same place that you were a few weeks ago coming out of summer workouts. So I ultimately, like if on the basketball side of things, I mean, we talked about it a little bit, like the backup center spot looked a little questionable. That was kind of one of the questions. I like Trayvon Carter-Givens, and I was intrigued by what I saw of him, but I don't know if he was ready to hold his own in the Big East. And obviously we've seen Osman Arunse have trouble staying on the court for extended minutes. So you're going to need like 10 to 15 minutes of backup center play, probably.
Wesley Rose.
And yeah, he's a good practice buddy right now. We'll see where he is by the time the season gets here. But so like Fred, it's hard to know what to make of him without, like, I wasn't watching Murray State game in, game out. Obviously put up really good numbers. He also put up pretty good numbers in the extended run that he did get with Creighton when Kalkbrenner was out and when he was out there. So like actually putting up numbers was never necessarily the issue. It was kind of more the impact and the impact on the defense and being able to kind of react to the speed of the game and all that. And so we'll see kind of what the year of playing full time did for him in that regard, but certainly physically, he's a lot bigger and stronger than, I guess, broader and stronger than the options they have right now. And you feel a lot better about the situation now, just having him potentially be an option than maybe you did a couple weeks ago.
How would you describe Fred King's smile?
Infectious.
Would you say that? Would you say big, like somebody has described?
Fred King, who gives a big smile back to the bench.
Big smile.
The little pause build up into like the acceleration of hitting big with a certain voice there. I liked it.
Had to say something, I guess.
It worked. It was good.
Thank you.
It was good. All right, so you said infectious. That's how you would describe the smile.
Oh, that's a real question.
Sure. Yeah. No. He's. I think he's a fun guy to be around. I think obviously they wouldn't welcome him back if they didn't think he was a good teammate. And I think like a lot of the guys that have departed from Creighton, like a Sharif Mitchell, guys like that. It was kind of amicable parting, mutual. Is like, yeah, I think this is probably best for you, and we're happy for you. I mean, obviously Sharif was back here for the alumni scrimmage a few weeks ago. Fred was back in town around that time too, so probably I was maybe what got the wheels turning on this, because I had heard that he was enrolled in school before that he officially shared that like he planned to return. So like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I think it's a guy that they're happy to have in the program and to kind of help them move forward. If again, back to the beginning, as long as he's eligible,
he could have a really great ovation at Senior Day this year. If Senior Days, I know Ryan Day is trying to kill Senior Days or whatever, but yeah,
are we still calling it that? Because like I know like a lot of schools are just going to go like fifth year for
that's a good question.
Final year.
Yeah.
Senior still going to be fourth year, so or is it going to be?
You can't call it fifth year day though.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
Roll off the tongue like that.
Why don't they just call
Thank you, fifth years.
Why don't they just call it appreciation night? Because you're going to be losing people anyways to the portal that are freshmen and sophomores.
So then everybody gets appreciated.
Everyone gets appreciated.
That everybody gives speeches.
I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody on the team after.
It seems like as valuable as having a senior night for somebody like Nick Graves, like he's there for 1 year and it's not going to be thought of particularly highly by anyone. So the senior night thing is going to be a potential casualty in all of this.
Sad. Very, very
sad. It is.
Yeah, and I mean, it already started a little bit, and obviously it was kind of the weird the COVID situation were they coming back or not? You had a lot of people go through senior day and then come back and give another speech. They have to go through it a second time, and it just does it hit the same? I don't know. Does it sound kind of weird? Like, hey, didn't we hear from you a year ago? Like, so I don't know how exactly they're going to handle that moving forward. That's just another decision that these programs will have to make. But I think the players will be fine with the extra year, and obviously I think coaches will be as well. It's just, again, a lot of those are kind of the little details, adjustments that go into all of this. It's a seismic change in college sports, and trickles down to the SIDs and the coaches and the players and the families and everything about kind of how to handle this new world.
Which combination of point guard and two guard are you most, like potential combination of one and two guard, who are you most intrigued by for Creighton this upcoming year? There's tons of options. There's tons of permutations of a backcourt. What are you most intrigued by?
Yeah, I think you use the word intrigued, and you got to have Cottrell Harmon out there as kind of the answer, just in terms of kind of long-term upside and the flashes that he's shown so far. Kind of just the positional versatility gives you, kind of with his length at the point guard spot, and then I think you pair him with a shooter like Wes Enos. I think he'll get him a lot of looks there. So that's certainly the most intriguing. I think Enos and BJ Davis is obviously the most experienced group there, and then I don't know what to think of Brody Robinson either.
Yep.
Kind of adding into that mix certainly brings something that they don't really have right now in terms of a true distributing point guard with experience. Obviously, he has not played at the high major level at all yet, and he's kind of had 1 year of really popping this past year with Oakland. He was okay with UT Arlington before that. Did a JUCO year, didn't play much his freshman year. So it's kind of hard to get a feel for. All right, is this just kind of a depth option? Is this a guy that's going to seriously challenge for starting spot for significant minutes? Don't know just yet. So I guess like you can add him into the intrigued intrigue discussion just based on that. But I think you look at just kind of the upside long term and just the general fan excitement. I think Cottrell Harmon excites the fans as much as anybody on the team right now. So I definitely would love to see what that looks like in real minutes, as opposed to kind of short, controlled spurts with mix and match teams in inter-squad practices.
Would like to give you a few minutes here if you'd like to talk with Joey about the Packers' first preseason game.
No, we have to ask about volleyball.
Prince Mac.
Oh, that's what you were doing.
Bump, set, spike.
I
You
thought
didn't
that
get
you were
that?
just setting me up to then
Bump,
spike
set,
the
spike.
to spike the Packers question.
Jacob was at the bump, set, spike Nebraska volleyball scrimmage on Sunday.
Okay.
What I wonder if there was anything that Jacob didn't, was wondering about or was questioning while he was watching the All-American scrimmage against each other.
Yeah, it's like, what do I take away from this?
Right.
Which I had a feeling like that's what Sandy Boston-McCulley was going to do in terms of mixing the teams up as opposed to going like an A side and B side, because she said that at the media day, like that's basically what they've been doing in practice the whole time. So like you can assume what lineups are going to be, but like she has not tipped her hand in any way really in terms of the spots that may be up for grabs. And obviously, I mean, we saw just a lot of players kind of make some plays, but also both teams struggled offensively against each other. There wasn't anybody really that truly shined on that side. I think Virginia Adriano, like out of kind of all the outside hitters that struggled a little bit between the two pins, she was probably the one that kind of showed the most and had the best overall day. Jaden Robinson looked interesting, I guess. Looking at that, like I think she probably made a move from the spring where in the spring matches, she was probably kind of at the bottom of the depth chart, and it seems like maybe she might have moved ahead of Gabby DeVita in the depth chart, but you also have three upperclassmen ahead of both freshmen. So I don't know if that ultimately means much for the regular season in terms of kind of the day-to-day lineup. But she was certainly interesting. So I don't know. It's normally hard to take much away from this, but it's really hard when she completely mixes up the lineups and we don't get to see kind of what we expect to be the starting group play together at all.
Jacob Padilla from Her Dad Sports. All right, plenty of volleyball. There's real volleyball coming. It's right around the corner. Can't wait. Jacob, thanks as always. Oops, we ran out of time for the Packers question. Sorry, Joey.
Mac.
A kicker sent from heaven.
Who is that? Who that is?
Yes.
What about this? Joey really likes this Cisse guy. Are you excited about him?
Oh yeah, that was the other exciting thing.
What about Keyshawn Nixon?
No, I'm excited about Brandon Cisse.
Let's hope he's not on the let's hope Keyshawn Nixon's not on the Packers after this year.
Joey's rooting for injury for that guy. It's getting kind of awkward.
Make him play in Denver.
Okay, I'm not quite there, but it's kind of
good.
getting to be an awkward situation. But
all right, thanks, Jacob. We'll get more Packers banter next week. Don't worry. See ya.
All right, bye guys.
Jacob Adele from Her Dad Sports.
Will we?
Well, I mean, sure. There will be a Packers preseason game between now and then, right?
Yeah, they'll be in Denver Friday night.
Are you already got your meal and your beer planned out for it?
Well, this will be after the big day down at Miracle Hill, and I'm still figuring out what I should do after I'm all done with that.
I would get as far away from there as possible, right? You get done with an event, you don't want to just hang around. They're going to ask you to do more.
Yeah, that's true.
If we weren't having such a big day, we'd just get you out to Denver and watch the Packers play.
That's true. I would be down in Denver.
Instead, you just want to leave Keyshawn Nixon there after they play.
Yeah, I would prefer if we just leave Keyshawn Nixon.
Was it
Denver.
Lane Kiffin that was fired on the tarmac?
Tarmac, yeah.
I can't remember. The USC call get fired. Fantastic.
Sometimes you get tarmacked, and that's what Joey wants to happen with Keyshawn Nixon.
He just wants to get Trey smacked.
Unfortunately, the Denver airport is 400 miles away from
Oh,
where
it's a
you
big
need to
one.
be. It's a long way
It is.
away.
It's on the opposite side of town.
All right, we'll come back. Joey has a big accountability he'd like to share with you all as well. After this on 1620 The Zone. Saw a random video during the break, a little media before the 1994 Orange Bowl between Nebraska and Miami. They're doing like random, like it was a local, must have been a Miami sports guy. He's going around with this camera, interviewing people, saying a bunch of random stuff, just like bits you would see these days. Bits still existed in 1994, by the way. And I know, contrary to some people's belief, bits existed a long time ago. One of the players that was interviewed was Dwayne Johnson,
The Rock,
who ended up being The Rock.
Wow.
He was a little rockish,
a little bit,
and he wasn't quite an expert at cutting promos yet, but he was excited to prevent Nebraska from winning their first bowl game in 8 tries, which he did not do.
Nope. Unsuccessful.
Very, very sorry, The Rock. All right, time to get to our final item today.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for accountability.
I think it'd be fun if we had The Rock on just to ask him about that game.
Yeah.
And see how quickly we could get him to hang up on us.
What if he was like, "Oh man, no one ever wants to talk about my football career. It's always about
yeah.
They always want to know about my tequila brand or my my production company or
acting
I guess that time that I was a wrestler."
He
or
saw
whatever
Corey
else.
Schlesinger on the field and he said, football ain't for me.
Not for me. Right. That's probably what he said. That has always been like a lifelong dream bit of mine. Talk to very, very famous people and
About
ask them
minor things,
not at all about the subject topic.
That's isn't that sort of the thing with Zach Galifianakis with the Between Two Ferns?
Yes.
Which I kind of have a soft spot for that.
It's very funny.
It is.
It wouldn't be that dumb, but
No.
I hope that the conversation would be. I mean, that could definitely be a podcast today.
No doubt.
All right, Joey, please tell people about your day yesterday.
Yesterday, I decided to take my car in because it needed some work. It just needed stuff to be done. So anyway, I ended up spending 4 hours at this car shop. Good thing I brought my laptops just to keep myself occupied. So I was working ahead on things work-related here for mainly for Friday's show. I did not have access to their Wi-Fi, so I used my phone hotspots, and that drained my battery to like 5%. Thankfully, I was done by then, but I was there for 4 hours. I was there from like 1 to 5, and I got a lot of things repaired on the vehicle just to make it drivable for the foreseeable future.
And so my natural follow-up question is, what are you holding yourself accountable for here? What's the mistake?
The mistake is he didn't leave early when he had a chance to just go somewhere and be more comfortable.
I was going to finish, Connor.
I apologize.
Thank you, Schaefer, for helping out.
Yeah,
but anyway, I'm holding myself accountable for not taking an Uber home just to relax for those 4 hours, just not do work at all. But I decided, hey, I just want to be here. I don't want to spend extra money on the Uber rides. They're pretty expensive. I remember having to take Ubers to the airport, and they're like $50.
You ever heard the phrase "time is money"?
Yes, I've heard it.
Would you agree with that phrase?
How far was the place from where you live? Could you walk?
It's like a 5-minute drive. I would say about a 20-minute walk.
Okay, so you could have walked. You could
Yeah,
have
I could have done that.
You didn't have your walking jacket, so
my walking flannel. I don't have
So
that.
that would be part of the problem
Because it doesn't
I suppose.
exist. Yeah.
Do you not? So I think the places where I've taken my car more often than not have like a courtesy driver. Do they not have one of this?
They didn't offer that to me, and I didn't
seek it out.
I didn't seek it out.
Did you think when you turned over your car, did you think you were going to be there for 4 hours?
I brought my laptop thinking it was going to be at least a couple hours.
Oh, wow. You
So
really did mess
it,
up then.
It was twice that, but it's fine. I got it done. The car is good. It's good for another few years.
Okay.
For far as I know.
Maybe.
Well,
I'm not. I
you
don't.
shouldn't say that because you're driving in Omaha, and we know how much you think of Omaha drivers.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
So you gotta watch out for them.
But yeah, I was there for 4 hours.
You
Fun
got a lot
time.
done, though.
Yeah,
you
I got a lot done.
You were productive with your time.
And they gave me the lengthy bill, and I'm like, here, take my money.
Do you think you would have been more or less productive at home?
Significantly less.
Yeah, I would agree with Schaefer.
So what's the accountability then?
He just wants to be accountable for losing the time that he would have wasted anyway.
No, I'm holding myself accountable for not relaxing and working instead. I shouldn't have to
Why is that bad?
It's like the backwards version of this entire thing. It's incredible. I love it. I'm just letting him look. He's choosing to be accountable for it.
I think you did a great thing.
I just accept what he wants to be accountable.
But I got plenty of time throughout the week. I could have get stuff done, but I decided to do it all yesterday.
Well, then what are you going to do today?
I'm going to do absolutely nothing.
That's awesome.
I think he's like literally going to get home, sit in a chair, and like, I'm not leaving this chair.
That sounds amazing. There's no reason to be accountable for that.
I don't think so either, but I just...
And then maybe in 2 days, because of this, you can be accountable.
Life to judge his accountability.
Well, here's another thing. Yesterday was nice, too, so I could have used that as an opportunity to go scurry around outside.
Okay. That's true.
You could have scurried outside if you walked from the place to your...
That's true.
That's what he's accountable for, I guess.
That's the accountability.
I already
not
brought my laptop.
Scurrying.
I already brought my laptop with me, so I did not want to risk that.
Famously not portable, those laptops. So my accountability, there was a clearing of my throat right in the microphone. I apologize for that at about 6:06 this morning, as I deal with the fact
I was just sitting there waiting for somebody to talk, and the first thing I heard was,
yeah, we're just in peak. You're going to run that risk. Here's the other thing that I want to be accountable for today. I'm sure there's probably a microphone incident, though I don't really think there was. But in the break, you had just left. You just walked out the door, and I stumbled across something that I know I don't need to click on. There's no new information. Nothing could possibly have changed. And yet I'm holding myself accountable for being the exact kind of person and the reason why there's bracketology all the time. There's a new bracketology from Joe Lenardi.
like
I
a
clicked
moth
on
to
it.
a flame.
And I found out Nebraska's slated to play in Omaha as a 6 seed with Kansas as a 3.
Oh my God!
I want it so bad.
Oh my God!
I want it so bad. What if the last game coached by Bill Self was to be eliminated by Nebraska
to go to the
NCAA
last game
in Omaha?
Oh my goodness!
Do you think the bars in Omaha would have beer?
I think they'd have beer.
All right. Well,
would they have enough ice to survive? I do not know.
Beer, ice, things of that nature.
I think they'd be equipped to handle what's coming, though.
I really don't know what I need to be accountable for today.
Maybe not. Maybe nothing.
Yeah, I did. I know in advance, pre-accountability, people are going to be mad at me for putting these bobbleheads up on the windowsill.
Who are the people that'll be mad?
I don't know. Somebody's going to say something about it.
Okay.
And
Josh Peterson.
There's a chance that it looks different when we come in here tomorrow, but
I kind of like it.
So if anybody's got a problem, take it up with me.
If we weren't doing that, then I'd want shelves put up and you could just display them across up there.
We could use something on that wall. That's for sure.
Just the bobble wall.
All right. Well, that's our accountability today. Oh, nice job, Joey, by the way, for finding this.
Fred King, who gives a big smile back to the bench.
Yeah. Big smile.
Big smile.
That'll do it for us today. If you miss anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. The crossover is next.